I am here, chat. I am here, and I am, well, I'm not queer, but you know, that's kind of how that would go, right? You know, just for like the rhyme. It would work that way. Who up Saber in their Spark? Dude, I have literally like 2 brain cells right now. I am so fucking tired. I am so fucking tired. I was up super late last night. Definitely shouldn't have. I mean, even though like streaming alone to that time, it was late, right? And I was hyper maxing, okay? But then on top of that, some stuff happened and Diesel's had to put on the detective hat again. Okay? And oh my god. It's gonna be a long next couple of weeks, chat. I am not gonna lie. It is gonna be a long couple of weeks. Bury the lead forever. I will bury the lead. I'll bury the lead for a little bit. We're not gonna be burying the lead that long. But I am burying the lead right now. At least most of the research for this was done already. Oh my god. Is your Sherpa and Tofu gonna probably not today. Probably not today. I think I'm pretty well versed on the subject now that I can talk about it. But you know, dims the brakes. I am so fucking mad. I am so fucking mad. Mods that know about this. Okay? You should stream, Opblock. I am so fucking mad, chat. All right? I don't have enough bones in my body to do this. Did you have fun doing the research? Well, most of the research I did a year ago, hint hint. So it's all done. So it's just about finding all of it again. Okay. And then like remembering events. And it's funny because I was chopping it up with the mod Greg, and he was remembering things and like retelling them to me. And I'm like, oh my God. I was in the room when it happened. The room when it happened. Dude, Melanie Mack is streaming right now. You think I just can I pay her $5 to say the F slur? Isn't it? I find it so funny, man. It's like YouTube streaming is slowly superseding Twitch, but like all of the sexist, homophobe, racist people showed up here first. Do you have a small figurine of Jar that you smooch every night before you place him under your pillow and whisper your sweet nothings? I'm actually not mad about Jar today, but he still hasn't replied to my tweet. I'm serious about that. I'll be a guest on your Sleepy Time Call podcast, Jar. I'll do it. I don't really want to do that, but I'd do that too, sure. You will be the butt of the joke though, so I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's gonna be you, not me. Um I will say that I opened up my YouTube and I saw that Tobuscus did another music video. So as a shot before the chaser of the Saber Spark video, I kind of want to see what this is. FPS Diesel is 5'2". That is not true. I'm 5'9" and mildly taller than Kristen Ark. This ain't even a music video. All right, I'm less interested now. Literally, actually, just instantly. Nope, not interested. Oh my God. All right, let's get through this. Let's get through this.
They were.
Oh my God, I'm so fucking exhausted. I don't want to do this. I said I'd finish this for the sake of the people involved. Okay. Did you see his community post? What's Tobuscus's community post? Dude, remember when he was like Nugget and a Biscuit guy? It was crazy. Being able to say retarded gives people the ability to defend themselves against the people who say things that are way worse, who for years were never being called out for being retarded. So this is a reference. Okay, for those of you that don't know, because I touch grass and people like to actually spend time around me, there is a woman who got infamous recently for saying the N-word at a bunch of black people. And this is a reference to a tweet where someone said that she said the N-word in defense. It was a defensive N-word. You know how like a bear like growls? It was like one of those things, but a slur. All right? So this is a reference to that. Personally, I just wish Tobuscus would just say, I like saying the N-word, followed by Tobuscus saying the N-word. I think it was black children, actually. Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to that that much, other than that the lady got like $500,000 in defensive money from Groiper 1488. And I was like, damn, I didn't know you could get all that money for being racist. Tactical F slur usage, defensive N-word usage. What's like an offensive slur in this word, in this usage, you know? So we could call bears slurs? Yeah, I guess so. Oh my God, dude. But yeah, I was thinking about like I was just, I was dwelling on this drama as I was in the shower, and I just can't believe that KP is as old as she is and turning such complicated tricks. You know, I really find it astounding the level of effort she's going through to put someone down. You get the N-word pass after a 5-player kill streak in COD. Yeah, I actually have 2Mad's official N-word pass over there. May he rest in peace. Oh wait, he ain't up there. Never mind. I've done that joke before. Sorry. I need new material. But it was just, I'm honestly like astounded. You're still at the interview. Yeah. Yeah. I do believe that I was told that this interview is kind of like a long-winded nothing burger type thing. I know some of this is like tied into the DA game stuff, but personally, like, I know Falgi's kind of taking the lead on that, and I'll say that's for him to get into. Everything I've been told about it though does definitely sound as bad as possible. The thing is that somebody like KP even doing this is like ruining the situation for everybody, right? So it's like you're never going to be able to have a serious discussion about it when the main propagator of the events is like somebody that's so malicious, right? And to my knowledge, there's a couple of other malicious parties in this, which make it even worse of a situation.
14-year-olds, 13-year-olds in there. The broader range is like from 13 to early 20s in that server, and it's unfair to assume that just because
we're gonna put it on 2x speed,
that you should traumatize these people. They did have an NSFW channel on that main server, but I wasn't around when it was a thing.
And what year was this about?
I'm not entirely sure. I remember.
With DA Games going down to Living Tombstone and JT Music, the only FNAF music makers left. If anything comes out about them, it's gonna be 9/11 for autistic people. You know, I have a, maybe this is a hot take, but like I've listened to some Living Tombstone music, and I listen to it and I go, who wants this? I know the funk guy is like, what, but a lot of it feels not like I don't know how to describe it other than it feels like stuff I would come across on Newgrounds in 2009, you know? Like I wouldn't, it just, it's like an anomaly. Like I'm really surprised. Oh, okay. No. JT Music has like 1 or 2 good songs personally, in my opinion, right? But a lot of his songs are fucking bad. They're like really bad. All right. And they're super cringe. And they just have not either aged well or are really that just great. And I listen to them and I go, and I'm like, I'm good. At least it's not Electric Swing. You know, honestly, that was also a weird moment when like Electric Swing was having like that kind of like comeback thing, but it was like such a Tumblr, like a Tumblr music genre, right? Where it's just like, oh my god, welcome back, ska. All right, how about Electro Swing go down the hall and to the left and go hang out with Buddy Holly, okay? It's not for you, SMH. Well, I love 1920s Art Deco crap, okay? But it's just the music, I'm like, eh. That music video where the animals are fighting, though, by, I think it's a song by Caravan Palace. That song in the music video is really fucking cool. Yeah. Don't shit it on Caravan Palace. Well, yeah, that's the one that I like. Do you know the Twitter meme of the Tumblr people dancing to the one Electro Swing type song on a stage? No. No. I would love to know what that is, though.
Being there when that channel got deleted, I think.
When did you guys join the server?
I joined the server in May 2018, and it was around then.
I joined in December.
I don't know how long it was around, like the server has existed since 2016, but It may have been around since the beginning, I'm not sure. But it was around 2018, that's for sure.
And another thing I wanted to bring up is that the moderators do not go through formal training, from what I could tell. I was there and he just picked someone and he was like, oh, you should be a moderator now. You've been a friend for a
And
while.
we go back to the video. You're really disappointing me with some of your takes. I'm sorry, I don't like your fucking nerd music. Someone's like, I've been a fan of Diesel for a decade, but you know, honestly, this is just where I stake my claim. I will go no further if he does not support Caravan Palace. If you hate JT music, then I'm unsub.
And like I said, he's hired minor moderators. The most recent one just turned 18 last year. They graduated high school last year, and they were moderated the entire time from Saber from 2018 to 2023.
Crotchety old man Diesel yelling at the kids in their electro swing, but it's a Hoovian in a sweater vest, okay? Who I'm yelling at.
And also, they were younger than me that entire time. And as far as I'm aware, I heard they were recommended to someone.
No, they got picked randomly. I remember this. Yeah, it was weird. They just got picked for no reason. And they even told me several times in DMs when they were moderated, like, you should have been it, not me. Because, I don't know, they thought of them themselves as not being capable enough to be a moderator, but they were anyway.
Yeah, I can get the point of having moderators being subjective, but at the very least, they should not be minors. They should also know it's actual work and should be okay with whatever work they get. Usually mods are like, hey minor, don't go in the 18+ chat, or have a question, we'll help you, just do it.
Exactly.
So was the minor activity in both servers?
Hey minor, don't go into 18+ chat. Me as a minor on the internet, I will ignore that and go into the 18+ chat anyway. All right? How did you... Guys, unironically, how did you use the internet when you were minors, right? Because when somebody would say, what's your age on the internet, you would lie. Oh, yeah, there's like cock coming up or something. Do you have the timestamps to avoid up? Let me reopen them. Let's see. Okay, we've passed the dick pic. There's a porn site coming up, but it's in 5 minutes.
That gave off red flags, or was there any other behavior?
Oh, there's way more. I remember in the games community, there was a lot of predators, like groomers and such, and they got exposed, like...
I was too scared of getting caught up in a lie, to be honest. Dude, I'd be like, oh, I'm on 4chan and I'm in high school. And I would go and I'd just be like, F-slur. And then somebody would be like, you're gay and not paying attention to the thread. Blocked or whatever the fuck it would happen, right? And I'd be like, damn, everybody's mean on here. And then I would go to Newgrounds and just like look at... I would just lie about my age and then look at cartoon porn on Newgrounds or something. And I've told the story before on stream, but for some reason, as like a child, I thought the world was gonna end in 2012. So I was like, I don't want to die without seeing boobs, and so I got on an iPod Touch, and and I looked up big boobs on Safari, and it changed my life forever.
The other month there would be another one, and they would never get acknowledged by the team, and it was just horrible. This guy got your personal real quick, but at some point I was groomed by someone in there, and I exposed them like 2 years ago. And I posted it in the server, I made a Twitter thread, and I posted it in there. Well, I asked my friend to post it because I didn't want to do it myself because I was a public figure at the time in the DX community. And it got deleted like instantly because it was just drama tarnishing the brand. And
So to summarize, it's not abnormal for predators to be attracted to online spaces that maybe make fandom content, but it's kind of scary when the mod team is burying it.
One of them really got arrested for having...
Dude, KP's like... extra little anecdotes that she adds on are so like leading and telling, okay? It's just like this lady has like a set of things she wants to get to, and she will get to them come hell or high water.
In their possession.
Yeah, this is one guy that got
I found it. Can I tag your Twitter? Yes.
34 accounts of child like 3 years ago, and they never got acknowledged by the team either.
And he was pretty prominent in the server. He would make animations and stuff.
He was really popular.
And he was kicked once that came out at the very least, right?
We don't know. We don't know.
There's a probability.
Well, it's like... if you're not on the mod staff and you don't know whether or not they get rid of a pedo, you know, you're kind of like up in the air on like you're not gonna know, right? Like you're just straight up not gonna know. So it's hard for you to even give a statement on it because the statement is always gonna be I don't know. So it's like you're just kind of throwing out something incredible out there and then like kind of washing your hands of it and not even elaborating on how extreme it is of the thing that you brought up.
Probably was.
You know, incredible claims require incredible evidence, right? But if we're couching a video in it was like a harboring, wretched, scum and villainy, yada yada Star Wars line, right? If it was like that, right, and that's how you're presenting it as, when somebody says there was a pedophile who was charged with blah blah blah, and they were in there, and you don't like choose to fact check it or see if anything's in there. What ends up happening is that it looks like you're just kind of presenting an allegation without evidence.
Where, like, if you suspect someone being weird, they will investigate and kick them, but
it's done very badly. It's done really badly. Like, from personal experience, it's so bad. Like, I tried to come forward about my groomer, like, way before I posted about it, and they were like,
tagged. Let me go take a gander. This is gonna give me some serious cringe, huh? Whoa. Have you seen, okay, it was on Twitter. Have you seen the tweet a couple of weeks ago where the lady was like dancing and somebody was like, I don't know why, but lady is dancing white. And people were like chiming in to be like, here's why that lady is dancing white, followed by a Twitter thread of what makes her dancing white. Let me try and find it. Oh my god. I think it was something like, hold on, something like white lady dancing. It's gotta be in here somewhere. It's gotta be in here somewhere. Dude, I can't find it. She was literally like not moving her hips at all. That was like, it was like really weird when she was moving. Like, it was unironically like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you okay? Like, Grok, can you tell me why this lady's dancing white? Dude, I look up lady dancing white and like this is like 50% like political Andy takes, some insane K-pop shit, or like we live in society tweets, okay? Like, I can't. None of it is what I need. I desperately want to find this video of this lady dancing now, but I guess I'll just live my life without it then. I once saw this extremely white man turn his snapback backwards, hold up his hands like a W while watching Wu-Tang Clan perform. It was some very white dancing he did. You know what? That guy, his heart was pure, okay? At that, with the Wu-Tang Clan, okay? He's at the cookout, all right? Give that guy a plate of food this instant. Oh my god. I might react to this while playing the Bazaar. I think that might be the only way we get through this, is if I'm playing a video game at the same time. Let me do that. Where's my phone? There. Have you, this like, I love it when there's new discourse on Twitter. That's why I can't leave the site. Like, that stuff is what keeps me there. And I'd been watching people explain why it's easy, or why it should be okay to use ChatGPT to do an essay. and all of it is basically just boils down to I'm lazy. I don't want to do work. I'm actually like, why can't I log into the bazaar? Oh, it was email, that's why. Can't even play the bazaar because now I gotta update it. Okay, let's hope the stream stays up.
Like, hey, do you have proof of this? And I was like, no, I deleted those chats because I don't want to see that shit. And they were like,
okay. Okay. Oh boy. You know what is never a good sign? When somebody's like, hey, do you have proof of you being groomed so we can do something? And they're like, no, I got rid of all the proof. Which, by the way, you can retrieve those things that were lost. If you are worried about a pedophile and you have been groomed, you can retrieve those things. There are methods. Okay? There are ways to get those things.
okay, but you can get them back. And I was like,
If
okay,
you're gonna play a game, play Minecraft. That was fun last time.
okay,
That's a
fucking
good
help me,
idea.
because
That's a
was
good
panicking.
idea.
And they're like, figure it out yourself. So you're going to tell a child in a panic state to just figure it out themselves, or else we're not, or otherwise we're not going to do anything. It's really weird. I don't know. I'm getting heated. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just so fucking dumb to me that they don't do the bare minimum, or just like don't have a server that's open to minors.
They don't do the bare minimum. Those in glass houses, fair lady. Those in glass houses. Play Ultra Kill. It'll be funny. That is a game that requires my full attention. I've never used ChatGPT for essays. I have, however, written down what was said in a YouTube rants for essays in high school. Had to write about something that pissed me off so much, so YouTube rants were obvious. Okay, at least that's like a funny through line, right? Like every time somebody uses ChatGPT to write something, I'm always like, dog, it would have taken like a minuscule amount of effort, right? Like obviously a lot of the way that business emails are conducted didn't need to happen, and like you didn't need my response, right? So it's a little ridiculous when people are like, oh, I'm responding to blah blah blah, and you know it's like AI, but you're like, whatever. But if it's like something like you need to put some little level of effort into and you write it out with AI, you're just sitting there going, oh my god, okay. Sure. Uh-huh. Thanks, buddy.
It reminds me of last year when he was doing a set list for MomoCon, and he has these killer robots, and he was going to describe in detail how they kill people, and I was asking, like, oh, shouldn't you put a content warning on there? Since most people are like coming for the DA Games stuff. And he laughed at me. He was like, no, why should I do that? I have a song called Mr. Dirty Balls playing. People should know that we're not for kids because that song is playing.
Oh, boy.
And literally the next day, he had to add a content warning anyway, so I just kind of like threw up my hands like, okay, you had to add one anyway, so why were you throwing a fit about it?
Yeah, he gets upset at like the smallest things ever, and it's so annoying. So it's really hard to like come forward about bigger stuff too.
Were any of the other team members supportive when you came forward?
I
Because
wrote down what Aaron from Game Grumps complained about with his dislikes with Subway and got an A. I've definitely done the same thing when I was younger, 100%. I've definitely done that.
understanding is that when you go to Will for stuff, he kind of brushes it off.
Well, he either brushes it off or he sends HR. The person that's currently HR usually will just go into your DMs and just be like, yo, don't bring negative stuff to Will. He cannot handle it right now, and he never handles it. So it's frustrating as hell.
And they just made them HR this year.
Is the HR person a public figure?
Not anymore. They did have a Twitter account, but one of the gripes I have is that as an HR person, they live with him.
An HR does not need to be a public-facing part of a company, by the way. I know Fauci said that last time, but that's pretty normal. HR is for like internal things between employees, right? And if it's like really that big, it's like a support team that stuff like that gets brought to, right? So maybe HR is the wrong nomenclature for a situation like this, and them saying HR is weird, but it wouldn't be surprising if it's a small team and that individual wears multiple hats and they just didn't update their fucking like signature or whatever the fuck, right? But like HR doesn't need to be a public figure, right? Like it really doesn't. Okay.
Everyone in there, so when it comes to certain situations like yours, technically they should not be handling that because they are not a neutral third party.
Does she have like a social presence? Like, is she known for being friends with Will?
Oh my god, dude. This lady, I feel, is like Jar because of her like association game that she's playing with everything, where she wants to find out who's related to who all the fucking time.
Yes, to some degree, like,
I feel like HR is one of those words that doesn't mean anything in a modern age of drama anymore. It is definitely one of those words that means nothing. What's another like drama word that means nothing now?
if to some degree she's public, when you go into DAM's live stream, she will be there as a moderator. Things such like that.
It seems like the running theme is Will can't handle whatever the conflict is because he can't address it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so let's talk about some troublesome behavior you saw from Will. I know he dated a minor in 2015, and there was a lot of end slurs and a lot of anti-Semitic slurs.
Adam Sandler's anti-Semitic Christmas. Hold on, let's go back a second. Wait, one of these that's coming up is a porn site, so I just gotta be careful.
Let's talk about some troublesome behavior you saw from Will. I know he dated a minor.
DA Games, I'm turning 18 next month, lol. KP Anonymous Pixel. So, oh wait, no, that's the fucking call beneath it. I'm sorry, it's just edited weird. 2 brain cells right now, chat. Two brain cells. All right, but I do believe this is the thing that Fauci was on about, where it's like, okay, well, you know, the age discrepancy, it was the UK, so you can't really pedo jacket him on like a legal definition, right? So it's really ridiculous for you to do that, given the regional specifics revolving around it.
In 2015, and there was a lot of end slurs and a lot of.
Also, listen, I am not approving his use of the N-word, but it's not a big deal, and you pearl clutching over it is just like a sword of Damocles that you've just placed over your head. Because if we go through everything you've ever said in your entire life and we find that you've said a single slur one time, we will cut the rope and that sword will fall on you.
Anti-Semitic slurs.
All right, there's a porn
Great
website
stuff. Do you have any
coming up.
anecdotes or things to share on top of that?
Just recently, someone did some more digging when they found out on a live stream clip. I was looking at some site called like Young.
Yo! Oh! Hi, Diesel. I just want to say thank you. I'm graduating college with my bachelor's degree in video production on Saturday. Thank you, boss, for all you... I am literally a guy on the internet. You did that yourself, okay? That was a hard thing you did, and you did it. So be proud in yourself, all right? If I encourage you to do that, good, but that's a lot of work that you did, and you should be proud of that. So you're saying Tobuscus was right. No. I'm blind. What are you seeing? It's a porn site with a bunch of like, you know when they do porn where it's like barely legal teens, and it's like the bang bus, and it's like a guy fucking a chick in a cab. You know, porn like that.
YoungPeopleBoy.com, and they did some more digging on the Wayback Machine.
What drove you to make this document? Was it the Predator thing? Like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back, and you just were like, fuck it, we need to write all this stuff down?
Something, common argument about the infantilization of women under a height of 5'5".
I think it was just generally, we were frustrated about a lot of things. We talked to each other, and then we found out about the NSFW stuff. And we decided, nope, this needs to get out there.
That's pretty much how it went. We stumbled across it as well. We were literally just messing around, and that's when we found it. And thought, well, this doesn't look right. And we did some digging, and we were like, this isn't right at all.
So you went back through Will's history and saw the anti-Semitism, and there's one point where he justifies using the N-word as a white person.
Yeah, it justifies using the N-word as a white man, okay.
So you went back through Will's history and saw the anti-Semitism, and there's one point where he justifies using the N-word as a white person.
Oh my god, why is my thing like lagging? Oh, well, I am launching CurseForge. Edited.
Went back through Will's history and saw the anti-Semitism, and there's one point where he justifies using the N-word as a white person.
All right, CurseForge. Jesus, hold on. I'm trying to launch Minecraft for us, chat.
He justifies using the N-word as a white.
You may say the N-word in your own rooms. You may do as you please on your own self where no one else can hear. No one else can feel offended. But it's your own sanctuary. But in a public Discord, but in a perfect public server, it's bound to hurt many people. That's really a no-go. That's not a defense of the N-word at all. What are you talking about? I mean, he's saying, listen, you can say that in the privacy of your own home, but if you come into a public server, there will be consequences for you saying that. That's not a defense of the N-word. That's just a gross misinterpretation of the screenshot. Yeah, I think I might blow up my PC. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, doing that with CurseForge definitely is causing some issues with the performance of my PC right now. I'm honestly 70% certain that CurseForge
that was
is just spyware. Because we believe in freedom of speech, but in a public environment, freedom of speech that isn't just handed to everyone. It's about respect. What gives you the right to communicate? An individual personality with a unison. This is literally a nothing statement. Okay. This is literally like a nothing statement. I'm not going to lie. He's saying we believe in freedom of speech, but this server has rules and we live in a society. That's literally like all he's saying. None of this is really a defense of him saying the N-word. I guess he's saying that you could say the N-word in the comfort of your own room by yourself. But like, okay, if a man says a slur in a room by himself and no minority is around to hear it, did he even say the N-word, you know? Like... It's about respect. He's saying it's not respectful to use the N-word in a public space. I don't understand.
Sad. So what was the response when released the first version of the document?
Well, the first
Was there some of that edited? It sounds like some of that call was just edited. Diesel, it's about drive, it's about power. Say the N-word, we devour. God.
version came out like really weird. Like,
Am I evil when I'm singing Dochi in the shower when I'm home alone and I don't self-censor? Can Elmo say the word if Elmo's singing his favorite song?
we tried to get like fans to see it, so we made a fan account and then like turn it into the release account. It was stupid. That one went really bad. Like, so you can say more about that. Like, it affected you mostly.
Yeah, it just went really badly. We were still fans at that point, and we were just like really...
Diesel, what are your thoughts on Kanye's World War III? I've been deliberately avoiding listening to that album because, like, I don't care if he wrote Graduation. I might listen to it, and I might. But it is kind of fucking bananas that he was like, Hail Hitler, N-word.
Heartbroken, so the doc was very emotionally charged, and it just had stuff in there that didn't really need to be in there. And then also after he came out trending on Twitter, like 2 mods, one of them was this HR person, came to me and they put me in like a group chat and they told me you have to fix this, and I'm like, I'm in a college class, I can't fix this right now, but I still had to do this anyway. And after a couple more screenshots came out, the HR person was like, is there anything else that's going on? Because if there is, I'm 1 step away from flipping switches. And
But now my career is dead because I stood up for a friend and I'm seconds away from taking steps to ruin lives because mine has been utterly fucked by this. And any more surprises might push me to the point I don't want to get to. That's not a threat or coercion. That's me being scared of flipping a switch and going fucking insane. Sorry for the vent, but I need to make this clear. We are not playing.
Lives, and I was really scared at that point. And rightfully kicked me from the friend group because I was so scared of what was going to happen to them. I just ended up throwing them under the bus because I was so scared and under pressure.
Like, we changed the password for the Twitter account and everything because we could not have this go south.
Yeah, and when the second document came out, I reached out again, and I was basically confirmed that was what happened. And I put out my secondary statement on Twitter because the initial apology, well, the quote-unquote apology that I made the first time, it went through those two people, and it was heavily sanitized. They wanted me to say he apologized in BC, he did this, he did that, and I was supposedly there to witness when he did those things. And as a result, people started disregarding everything as fake, and so I wanted to make that secondary statement to explain that nothing was fake, and I was pressured into writing something I didn't really believe in. And then later, those two people would come forward in private and apologize to me for doing that.
So let me get this straight, guys. So 2 official DA Games ambassadors, mods, whatever you want to call them, basically tried to legally threaten you to formally apologize or else waggy finger. Is that basically what happened?
Pretty much. This page 4 person, she bragged about being a former Kiwi farmer and like digging stuff up about people. So I knew she had a couple.
Former Kiwi farmer. Oh boy. Oh boy. When somebody mentions how somebody else is a former Kiwi farmer, I feel like that's like a smoke signal. Right? Because every time someone's like, this former Kiwi farmer, like, you kind of like pull on that thread a little bit, and you're like, oh my god, you have a Kiwi Farms account too? Crazy!
To do those types of things. Those people on websites do, and I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that.
Just called the African Council. They said he can say it today. I'm not going to say it.
People who are working there.
Yeah, I was especially scared because they will commission me. Like, what if they save the packaging, I send his outfit in, and have my address? Like, I was scared as fuck. So,
I gotta be honest. I don't. These guys don't really take me as the type to. Like, what are they gonna do? Send a hitman after you?
I logged you out because I could not have that happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what happened after you released the second doc? Did anyone come after you or try to have you reprimanded?
There was this. It was really weird. Like, this time it went okay. Like, we posted it on like the Reddit and stuff, and it actually got some reaction. It was really cool. But there was also this one person that either was the HR person or someone pretending to be the HR person. We still haven't figured it out because the HR person has a habit of stalking me specifically. And they
The habit. Okay. Oh boy. All right. This is you're being baited by. You're being jebaited. You're being jebaited.
The HR person has a habit of stalking.
Lala, legal throwaway. Guys. Are you serious? Are you really taking this with any modicum of seriousness? If you get a Twitter DM from a random 0-follower Glupshido account, whoever that is claiming to be, that is not them. Okay? And if you think that this is a real HR department, they would not reach out this way. No professional company would reach out to you over Twitter DMs message requests on an alt throwaway account. Companies don't work like that. I guarantee you that is not really them. Hello, it's Lala. Yesterday, after your second round of exaggerations and lies, Will hurt himself, the details of which I am not willing to go into right now. I think that this is another teenager. And the reasoning is based on the language in this Twitter DM. Mainly because like stuff like will hurt himself is just like you wouldn't use that kind of language. Thankfully, it wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad considering the circumstances, and he's safe now. Due to mental, emotional, and physical harm you caused, we are presenting you with an ultimatum. Take both versions of the document down within 24 hours, or we will sue for damages. That is also not how that works. What would happen is that you receive a cease and desist in the mail. Okay? Because a lawyer would be able to find your information, and then they would send you that, and you would get a notarized letter saying, don't do it.
I always wanted to be a Kiwi farmer. It seemed cool. But I found out that kiwis don't grow well in my region. So I guess I now do tomatoes.
I saw a tweet where somebody was like, if we lived in an anarchist society, we could have our own like food supply chains. And they drew like this little MS Paint of like 6 beanstalks, and then they put an arrow, and then they had like a fucked up looking house, and it said beans to house, right? And it was like the people eat the beans. And there was a response on the tweet that was like, people severely underestimate how much food they eat. And all I could think was like, you would get like no beans from those bean plants. You could do both email and real mail. Yeah, email is a courtesy, right? Either way, it wouldn't be over Twitter DMs. It would be, at the very least, you'd see something in the emails.
They acted like they were gonna sue me.
Yeah.
On what grounds are you going to sue me? I deleted the first statement. Any other copies made by outsiders, I can't do anything about. On what grounds? For libel.
Remember that. It was just horrible. Another thing is this.
Great. Now get rid of the first. Don't worry about any other. Don't worry about those. We will deal with them. Most recent. Are you discussing this with Freaky?
Second doc, it just kind of inspired someone to
Yes, and with my lawyer friend, because I don't even know if you can sue me.
go through the server logs, and they found that people like Chris were going through and
Yeah, I don't know much about stuff, but I don't think HR will just tell someone that their employer hurt themselves because of an internet doc. Yeah, I think it's like a fan trying to like mean mug them into silence.
deleting all the racist stuff that they said, and they found videos. They made like a whole archive just going back that they were like just going back and deleting things.
So Chris got caught being racist and sexist just in general?
Yeah, pretty much.
What the fuck is that? Nobody gave me a timestamp on whatever the fuck that is. That is a horribly, horribly fucked up.
So before I move on to the last question, can you guys give some context, as much as you can, from the anonymous Chris story that you interviewed the victim for?
So that's actually my best friend who told an anonymous story. So this had to do with her username, which had the word animal in it, and then her name. And so it actually came from that. Like, it was weird. Why did they say that? Why did they think it was appropriate to say that to a 14-year-old they knew was 14?
What took me off guard is that the 14-year-old had met Will before. Was that at a convention?
Yes, it was at a convention.
Okay, cool. At least that's perfect.
They're also pretty prominent as a person in the community, so it would be weird if they didn't know how old she was.
Is she still prominent?
No, she got banned, and now she fucking hates their guts, so...
So the whole team has a controlling presence with their fan base and on social media, right?
The whole team has a controlling presence. Dude, her rubbing together being like, so they kind of run like a cult here, right? Where some people aren't allowed to speak out. Meanwhile, her and her Discord server, you know, I'm just saying, those in glass houses.
Yeah, pretty much.
So my last question is, unless you guys wanted to add anything else as far as any general stories or experiences or anything.
So as I mentioned before, I was a fan artist, and at the beginning of Iris, I would make interpretations of characters, and Will would go in the chat and say, these interpretations give me anxiety because now I'm scared they're not going to be able to live up to these expectations.
Let me backtrack. What is Iris? Is that a song they've done? I'm not familiar with their content
It's
right
one of his IPs.
Yeah, I said
Enjoy, Diesel. I am telling people to watch your Cinder video when they start talking about the subs issues.
Man, I will have an edited down version of that. I need to divvy out some editing work to people. So hopefully they don't need to watch all those long ass streams. But also thank you for that, philosopher. Very poggies.
Yeah, it's a dystopia thing. There's a lot of characters, but not a lot of them have designs. So what a lot of people like myself did was like, let's make a design on this character based on this very vague description that he had. And people would also make covers of songs too, and you'd get high amounts of anxiety over it. And
Or the DA Games guy who made the David song. Who made that song? My name is Dave.
in some cases, you'd call it defacing. I got caught out for the way I drew one of his killer robots because he was like, well, now you made my design look like horseshit, even though I heard no one else complaining about his design or anything like that. And then on top of that, a bunch of other artists started apologizing, like, yeah, we're so sorry. We didn't know us drawing this stuff upset you so much. And you never said anything until now.
Well, if he's like
he made
spurging out because other artists are better than him, then he's just a little pee-pee poo-poo baby, and he should feel bad.
A rule in the server for a while that you can post interpretations, or you can post covers with more than one instrument or more than one vocal track, and he just now changed that rule. I heard from someone that's still in there that he just changed the rule back to where it was before, so you can do that again.
I can't get over that because that's the stupidest fucking thing. He should be happy that people are making fan art because they enjoy the thing.
KP would be like, I love it when people make fan art. Me commissioning the most heinous thing imaginable. KP has received a C&D from DA Games, but it's in regards to the Chris firing employment. Ah.
It's like he's punishing his fans.
Yeah, even
Boy,
someone was asking
I'm not surprised, to be honest.
me about it. He's like, well, I'll go forward in making more character designs when I'm sure that they won't be tampered with. And just a lot of extreme words for stuff that wasn't extreme. Being a young artist at the time, I was 16, and that was devastating to me. And when I was telling him, this really hurt when you said that, he was like, well, don't have a cow, it's not that bad. Without really acknowledging how I felt or how any of these other people felt about that.
That's a problem he generally has, like, when someone comes forward to him about how he hurt their feelings, it's like, oh, it's not that bad, like, Bro, you hurt someone. It's not cool,
Real
man.
question, all I've heard has been about DA games. How does Saberspark connect to this? Is he like the secret mastermind of the whole thing? Now, you guys might be wondering what any of these situations have in common. The Chris Cum incident from last stream, the mysterious pedophiles of this Discord server, okay?
Oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. I mean, the predator shit and the child porn is probably the worst of it. Okay, to recap. So I was going to say it sounds like it's pretty bad between the allowing predators to be in their spaces and not really doing anything about it or threatening people.
You might notice that I didn't elaborate on Saberspark's connection to that, right? That's because Saberspark is not really the purpose of this, even though it was made to be like it was, right? The reason KP did this video is because she's a vindictive asshole and is mad about a raunchy joke that a guy made 10 years ago in the privacy of other people. For my favorite VTuber.
For my favorite tuber, kissing face emoji.
I need to do another VTuber stream. The thing, you know, all the drama that happens in there, in that community, is just the most ridiculous stuff. I really do need some more VTuber drama, because it is a nice little palate cleanser.
who make fan art, or Will dating a minor, and Will looking up child porn. I remember seeing that because I thought that was the worst thing Will specifically had done, and then Chris just had the behavior of being sexist and racist too, and gross with minors. So what would you guys like to gain from coming forward on a bigger platform and speaking about your stories?
So my original goal
This lady is so malicious with this shit. If I am a genuine victim of something and this lady ran my story, okay, I would be really, really pissed with how she's been. All right.
be like acknowledgement of this stuff happening, but like I don't think that's gonna happen. Like ever. Being
But
realistic.
Diesel, she's hot. Like what I said last stream.
I don't know exactly what I want anymore. Like I just want this stuff out there, I guess. That's all I can do.
What I personally think is Will needs to take a break from the internet because this sounds really unhealthy from a third-party perspective.
I love it when she pathologizes the people she's covering. That's my favorite part. I think you're autistic. I think you have an unhealthy relationship with the internet. It's like, dude, this lady's weaponized therapy speak, dude.
I'm just gonna sound. This is gonna sound really mean, but I don't think he's capable of taking a break from the internet. I mean, he went on a camping trip with his family, and he was on his phone and was in voice calls the entire time. So even then, when he was supposed to be out in nature, he wasn't taking a break. There's multiple times he said he'd leave Twitter, and then he never did. I believe someone caught him lurking because he was pretending to be off of Twitter, but then like he retweets something and then quickly unretweet it. He's on Instagram mostly now, and even now he's.
I'm a sapphic freak, and I gotta say, she is mid. Dude, this community is wild.
To like be offline on Discord.
Something I've noticed too is that people who enable him are dependent on him, like the HR person who's a roommate of his and is dependent on the channel's income in order to live.
Yeah, exactly. Like the HR person lives with him and doesn't have a job outside of HR for DA games. I think
The HR person lives with him and doesn't have a job except for the job that they have. Oh, okay. Ay, Dios.
we don't know because they're not a public figure. We don't have any connection to them anymore. But I think the only thing they do in their life is sit in Will's house and send out angry emails to us.
This is what the kids call an allegation, something we don't know if it's true, but it's based on a theory and evidence.
Yeah, she
Allegations aren't evidence. You can't just say something and then be like, but there's evidence, and then not show the evidence. There's this guy called Flamenco. You won't like him for a myriad of reasons, but you and him serendipitously share a lot in common.
She used to have a job like as a childcare worker, but she stopped. And then she did like art commission. Yeah, and then she did like art commissions for a while, but then she like fucked up her wrist. So I don't know what she can do if she has a job.
Sounds like a healthy work environment. So the only time they
Well, she is an expert in unhealthy work environments, you know? I mean, when I think of wonderful businesses, I think of the Xian fucking child labor factory and KP's volunteer by any means necessary video coal mines, okay? Oh my god, dude.
acknowledge anything wrong is when I retweeted one of the emails a couple of weeks before this recording and they were like, Chris is taking a break. Chris is taking hiatus, which I think means we're going to wait until this blows over because we're not going to show you anything
Okay, yeah. How about you just editorialize with it too?
that Chris went to any HR training.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and allege that he did not go through any training. Like I said, the HR person.
The thing is, you guys can go out on a limb as much as you want. The reality is that you just don't know. You just don't know, right? So it's like, if you could hazard an educated guess, sure. But like when I hazard an educated guess on something, sometimes I'm burying the lead and I actually know the specific answer. Or it's because I know, and I do research into the story. I'm not just like some guy. I talk to the people, there's conversations, I'm taking notes. Sometimes I have notes on the screen that you guys can't see, like all that shit.
Was only made HR this year. DA is only 4 people. Even emailing and doing NDA was against the ACAS guidelines. So I don't know what training he would have done if there was any. I think we had a timeline down. Like a day or so after your tweet came out, he left Twitter the day after. He was streaming the night after, and a day or two afterwards, he was saying, I got trained. Like, at what point during that timeline would he be getting trained?
Yeah, and keep in mind, for those who don't remember, I had the original conversation with HR a year ago. And I was feeling antsy because I wanted to make a video for a while, and we were waiting for the right time, and then this blew up, and I'm like, this would have been great a year ago. But ideally, it doesn't sound like the team is even safe to make content because of their influence around others. Like, Will himself dated a 17-year-old when, how old was Will?
22 to 23.
Remember, guys, in the UK, that changes quite a bit, actually. All right.
Great. So when you date a 17-year-old, regardless of when it happened, you should know better. Like Chris telling the story, regardless of when it happened, he should know better. So I guess we'll hope for the best. I think at the very least, if there's going to be any changes, they have to show proof and a plan.
Dude, I just... This KP lady, I have no sympathy for every bad thing that's come her way, man.
No one's going to believe them at this point, I think. A public apology is probably a good start.
Yeah, that's like the big thing. Like, you would think that nobody would believe what DA are saying, but they do, and it's weird. Like, even when you show them proof, they're like, no, it's fake, you're just haters. Like, their fan base is very...
with the rise of streaming content in the drama sphere, a lot of people that get into drama and communities who think that we're not around are probably desperately afraid that somebody like Beckett of Crabs or FPS Diesel might look at their stupid Glupshido drama and complain about them for hours on end. I've gotten messages like that too in the past where the people are like, you were a mean person. I have to say that the issue with including Chris is the bestiality is hearsay, and where there are posts, there are wills.
Yeah, their fan base is like very, they just really want to believe that they're good people when they're not, because Lord knows why, actually.
It's because he built up a parasocial relationship with them.
True.
Even with the lolly thing, when we told people about that, they were so like,
Motherfucker. I'm actually gonna fucking have a God-given conniption fit. All right. We didn't have a timestamp for that one either, chat. Let it be known.
well, actually he was using it to test a bot, and I'm like, well, why is it?
Oh, I'm fucking pissed. Put this lady in the fucking ICE detention camps right now. Put KP into ICE detention camps. RFK, put her on the autism registry.
It's still there. And it wasn't even in the same server. Again, the fans have a very parasocial relationship. You have this mature 20-something-year-old telling you all his deepest secrets and stuff, and all his childhood traumas, and you feel closer to him. And on top of that, you have this...
I do think it's super soy when YouTubers are, like, telling their audience on a Discord how, like, hurt and troubled and disabled and gay and new in town they are. You know, like, come on, man. Just fucking maybe get, like, friends and talk to those people instead. You know, don't get me wrong. I like interacting with my audience. I like it when they compliment me. But also, in the same respects, it's just like, I don't want them to know every single little detail of my life.
Discord channel dedicated to just giving him support. You're encouraged to look at his Discord.
I left and I returned, and here bestiality is hearsay. Well, they're claiming that somebody has posted bestiality without evidence, and the person they do have evidence of posting that bestiality is not one of the people that posted it. So they claim 2 people posted bestiality when they only have 1 person.
Since he would state he's in. When I was younger, he'd even go as far as to like delete his Twitter account and like threaten to delete the YouTube account because he was feeling bad. And when you're put through that over and over,
This guy just sounds like just the worst. I mean, just like a little bitch made Andy.
again, you want to feel close. You want to feel like this person can't be bad. I did all this for him. I went through all this for him.
Diesel compliment me, praise me. I mean, like, who doesn't like having their ego filled, you know?
I'm just sorry. I'm getting
Melon stream next week. By the way, Cat the mod is so tired of me of the fucking melon thing. He is so tired of it. I need to do the melon stream so that way Cat can move on.
Because again, I went through all of that, and it's such an emotional, draining thing to go through. It's like, no, you shouldn't be doing this to 13 and 18-year-olds. You shouldn't be telling them all these things. Like, I'm gonna do my YouTube channel where, you know, when I was bullied, I got my head bashed in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the worst example I remember is, I think, that he said in his Discord server that he was going to kill himself because his fans were...
Dude, he's in his Discord server saying that he's gonna jump. He's gonna do it.
So fucking annoying. I don't have proof of this, sadly. I remember seeing it.
He posted a suicide note on Twitter.
Right, several times.
And then Chloe had to come out and say, no, guys, he's fine. And then he just, like, he never deleted it afterwards.
And he didn't kill himself. He's okay.
He posted several times, like, while he was in the hospital.
Oh, you know, the real worst part here is that he never followed through on it, you know?
As well.
Yeah, I remember this happening when I just was a fan, like, when I, like, 2018, 2019.
God, I'm fucking sore.
And, like, I felt super close to him when I literally just knew him for, like, 4 months. It was weird, like, I felt this super close connection to him, and now I understand why, and it's so fucking awful.
On that note, do you guys have any advice for people that are kind of in similar shoes that you were when you were finding all this stuff?
As the groomed, do you have any advice to those who have also been groomed?
About?
Talk to people. Talk to people, like, you're not alone going through this. Like, please talk to people, even people that are still fans, like, talk to them. It's okay if you don't feel okay going through this, because it's fucking hard. Having to sever a connection that feels so close and personal to someone who turns out to be a terrible person. Like, it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to feel sad for the things you lose. It's okay. Like, you're gonna be fine. Talk to people.
Yeah, I agree that wholeheartedly. Like, just talk to people. One of the driving factors that led me to become...
I don't... Oh, my God. Talk to people, guys. Talk to people. If something bad happens, make sure you talk about your feelings. Talk to anybody who will listen. In fact, trauma dump, even. We just want closure on the melon thing. Leg closure.
Again, is that I talked to someone about everything that happened, and I suggest just to talk to people who are outside of the server, go to different servers, and just know that this is not how things are supposed to be. Like, I talked to a friend who had nothing to do with DA or anything, and they were like, that's not normal. That's not something that should be happening on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think that's a good note to end on. Therapy's good, guys. All right, well, I guess on that...
I think we should actually teach people to gaslight. I think we should build more sociopathic people. You know, I think we should... Listen, in a world of rape or be raped, you should learn to be the greatest rapist. Okay? Listen, you're playing a chess game. It's either you or them. It's the dark forest of Discord, okay? It's dark forest theory, but real life, all right? You need to know to be more psychopathic than the other person. Oh, God. You must out-gaslight your opponent, okay? In order to win and survive in this Discord gig economy hyper-capitalist dystopia, you must learn how to be the gaslight gatekeep girl bosser, okay?
that note, we can end. Thanks, everyone, for being here and telling your stories. It sounds like a hot mess.
It is. Like, it's so messy right now. Like, on the DA Games subreddit, currently they're, like, censoring words. You cannot say the number 11 anymore. Shit like that. It's stupid.
Best advice of the year. My favorite streamer is the guy who told me that I should gaslight and be more psychopathic to people. He actually was giving me tips on how to be worse of a person online. You should take a grippy sock vacation and learn how to do it better.
Post context of what was going on earlier, and they just deleted it. immediately.
Yeah, they
Lie on your resume. Commit tax fraud. Goon in VC and then tell people you didn't. But don't do it in mine. Do it in somebody else. Apex Predator.
Apex Predator.
My fiance said Yujiro be like.
instantly, like, I got banned from the Reddit.
As someone who took a media literacy course, this is not how you deal with backlash.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. I took a media literacy course. Oh my god. Guys, she's an expert in media literacy. You gotta understand that in undergrad, she took a course on media literacy, okay? She's basically an expert in the subject. She has a tertiary understanding of the subject matter with her bullshit arts degree. Oh my god. Interesting how you have media literacy but are stupid anyway. She thinks she's Jon Stewart, don't forget. Oh my god. I took English 102. Guys, I'm somewhat of an expert in Roman war tactics. I took an intro to Roman war tactics in college, okay? God. Oh my god.
Apologize, but it's kind of hard to recover when you have minors and predators in the same space and you haven't really done anything about it. These are really serious issues that aren't like a oopsie, so...
No, they're dealing with it so badly, like, it's embarrassing for them.
I know, I heard through a mutual friend that they originally weren't going to say anything because they didn't see a reason for it. They were like, oh, there's no reason for it, it's going to go away.
Alright, thanks everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you.
So there's 3 players in this Shakespearean tragedy. Chris,
This is a lot like 9/11 when you think about it, okay? There's a bunch of first responders who gooned in a bathroom and then didn't... This is nothing like 9/11, what am I saying?
A member of my production team who made up this gross story about me. His first boss DA Games, a YouTube
Okay, by the way, this guy really didn't do anything. Okay?
run by Will Ryan, and his second boss, another YouTuber named Saber Spark.
Oh, interesting how it's Chris works for DA Games, who are bad people. And then Chris works for Saber Spark, who is also bad. Misk, Will's Nazi and anti-Semitic memes. I would love to see a takedown video on me because it would just be filled with things like me making a joke about that. But like, I couldn't be more ambivalent to that and anti many of those things. All those things, actually. All 2 of them.
Nazi, racist, and anti-Semitic meme.
Diesel, I'm outside and my laugh just echoed through the whole street when you said this is like 9/11. Thank you.
Listen, it's
Red heart emoji.
It's been 24 years. Okay, I don't think we can make jokes yet. I almost forgot. Sorry. Listen, I'm from New York. I can do that. Bro's insane today. I'm fucking really tired, so I'm a little delirious. I'm not gonna lie.
There's also racist and anti-Semitic.
Guys, there's the racist memes in the Discord, and it's just cereal that says the N-word. Oh my god. Man, if the Internet Explorer's group chat leaked, one member would be really screwed over right now, okay?
Named Saber Spark. Misk. Will's Nazi, racist, and anti-Semitic memes. There's also
him saying instead of saying triggered, it's oh my god. Okay, I don't even know if this is anti-Semitic. It's not like a joke at the expense of Jews, you know?
Racist and anti-Semitic memes.
And then like the whole N-word please thing. I'm sorry. I know I'm not. Listen, I know white people like to say that I'm white and then like everybody chooses my race for me. I personally, and I know, listen, excuse me for being woke. I don't identify as white. I've never identified as white. I feel out of place in white spaces, okay? But depending on whether or not somebody likes me, determines what race they think I am. Also dependent on how racist they are. So just FYI, Puerto Rican Latino male, many times Latino Americans, usually allowed to say the N-word, especially if we grow up in like the hood, okay? Because our homies be black. And so we be talking. And listen, man, I got fucking cousins that are darker than me, okay? Like, and I really, really, like, just can't help but look at you like some pearl-clutching, annoying white person when you do shit like that. It's like, great, here we go. I bet they'd talk down to me, too. Or I bet they'd grab their purse when they were near me, too.
It never ends here. Part 3, how DA Games handled the Chris situation. Badly. Back to the Chris situation. The DA Games team first
Oh my god. Alright, we're an hour into this video. Saber Spark has not showed up, and we're going back to the guy who made the raunchy joke about jerking off in a bathroom over a decade ago.
The situation privately in November of 2023, citing the issue had been resolved to their own satisfaction, and that Chris didn't work for them at that time, even though there's proof that suggests otherwise, and that Will Ryan was likely in the room to hear the story recounted at least once. They continue to lie about my legal rights, and basically put...
You know, she went to a BLM rally and went, stand behind me, to a random African-American person. The cops won't shoot me. Dude, she's the kind of lady... Did you guys... Okay, I keep doing the did you see the tweet thing, and I don't have the tweets on me, but I swear this is a thing I've seen on twitter.com. Did you see that thing where they like closed down a park for one day and they made the park like a black only space, and they had a bunch of white people stand around the perimeter of the park and make it so that way only blacks and minorities could enter the park? And it was like a bunch of white people standing in a line being like, you can pass, you can't pass. Oh my god. That was a real thing. That was a real thing. I saw it. This did not happen. Hold on. Let me find it.
Just wanted to thank you for reading my dono out yesterday. It might not seem like much, but I appreciated it. Smile now, fruit it up.
I will fruit it up. I will fruit it up. Great. I'm not going to find us, and now everybody's going to be like, Diesel, that was fake, or something. I hate that you're telling me that. I swear to God, this is real. I swear. Everything I check is just about the lady who said the N-word. And then, that's a insane Twitter account I just saw. I can't even click on that. What the fuck is that? All right. This is an account. This is a... All right, guys, I'm going to describe a fetish to you. So just let it be known that I'm just describing somebody's kink. Are we familiar with what it means to be blacked? Anyway, so usually that's like, you know... So have you guys ever seen the Ace of Spade with the Q on it? Right? Yes. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, that's like when somebody is like, you know, black and they're like, they have a big penis and they fuck white women and exclusively white women and they love to do it. And those white women, it's like a little bit race play kind of thing. But when I looked up the black only spaces, one of the top responses was an account, and it's called like Your Tormentor, and it says the music, kinks, and fantasies of an alpha black male, dominant, misogynistic, and sadistic, and it is just loaded with some of the most insane shit I've seen in a while. Holy shit. Oh my god. And that was one of the top responses when I looked it up. Did Linkara make it? Dude, every time I look up something on Twitter, it's just like the top results are always insanely racist stuff. Okay? Like the search function just provides you with the racist musings of schizophrenics. It's Elon's will. Great. I'm never gonna find this. I just can't find the tweets of the things I look up. That's a wild account, dude. Holy shit. There's also just, you know, your average racist. How many followers on it? I've modded my Twitter so I can't see follower numbers.
Blacked fanfiction, call that shit a Riley Reid.
That's outrageous. Unironically, there is proof that Elon weighs the Twitter algo towards things he likes to see. Well, you know, I guess that's near the top of black-only spaces. There is a discourse around that, by the way. So for that to be one of the top things that comes up when I'm scrolling on the results is pretty fucking wild. Oh, you don't get two of these yet. Okay, you get one right now.
Pressure on me to stay quiet about everything. We'll show you those emails in a second. At a last-ditch attempt, DA Games attempted to send me a cease and desist. So we're going to go through some highlights of the emails here, but feel free to pause the video and read them for any context that you...
Well, her being sent to cease and desist is very funny because what if they make good on it? You know? Like, her doing this is just like, well, she didn't stop when we gave her a cease and desist.
Like, hi Matilda, I was told to contact you regarding the aficionados Chris case.
Many months later.
Hi Matilda and the DA Games team. It's been 3 months since I last reached out, and I'm disappointed in the lack of urgency. I'm reaching out one last time to discuss the issue and sell it privately.
Hi, KP. Thanks for your patience. Chris informed us that the recording between you and him was not consensual. Nonetheless, we listened to the recording ourselves and have determined that the two of you had already reached a resolution. You will allow the actions of the past
That's true.
to be forgotten and forgiven. It is also our
Who
understanding that
sent
all of this
it?
took
They hide that.
place before Chris was an employee of DA, meaning that he was not under contract at the time of the incident. Therefore, as a company, we do not have the jurisdiction to punish him in this situation as he has not breached contract.
I'm disappointed with the lack of action taken regarding these issues and your lack of alarm.
No, you just want to ruin his life, dude. You don't even give a shit about any of the stuff that's gone on in this.
Upon your company's priorities, values, and internal culture. Also, regarding the recording and Chris's statement, fact is, whether or not Chris engaged in the activity, he openly spoke about doing it allegedly in call.
Lazy Bedhead, the person reading, did a hit piece on Black Griffin. Well, I know Lazy Bedhead has done drama stuff before, so...
involving his coworkers post having his position within the company and after, as late as 2019. This is highly inappropriate, morally unacceptable language to use when conducting oneself around coworkers.
Well, you run a fucking hobbyist sweatshop, okay? Fuck off.
That's when it's attempt to convey approval from peers and a superior by presenting himself as a sexual harasser. If he was bragging about sexual misconduct involving a minor, would that change your response? Because if the answer is yes, you should be taking this seriously because sexual harassment is sexual harassment. By continuing to employ Chris, you not only condone his behavior, but actively encourage it within your workplace-related settings. At this point, it's a matter of safety for myself and members of our community.
Guys, this is a matter of safety. This guy said something in private a decade ago, and I heard about it much later. I feel like I'm at risk that he might show up again in my life and goon in my bathroom. No, we have no contact. No, I haven't seen him in forever. Please do something about this. What are they gonna do?
and me attempting to handle this issue privately is a courtesy, one that seemingly is not being honored, and in fact, dismissed. If
Of course, I swear to God, it makes total sense that you were friends with Lily Orchard. It makes total sense you were friends with Lily Orchard. Maybe we should re-look at everything you've ever done, because I don't know what kind of skeletons are also in there, motherfucker, but I guarantee you that they are quite interesting.
no satisfactory result is brought about, I have no problems going public.
We will review this case again and decide on appropriate disciplinary action. This will be handled internally and confidentially, of course. We would like to state that we do not represent Chris in any legal capacity. DA Games as a company does not tolerate threats of defamation or libel. If you go public, we have the right to pursue legal action.
Yep, 100%.
We will share the results of the investigation with KP, but only on the condition that she signs a confidentiality agreement.
She played MLP goon games, allegedly. Yeah, if I wanted to, it'd be really easy to build up a moral crusade against this lady. Like it would be so fucking easy. Like, like I said, I don't really give a shit if she's, like, played MLP goon games. I don't give a shit if she's like, damn, I love Shigo, X-Draken, Kim Possible, X Ron, or whatever the fuck his name is. I want to say Ron Weasley. I know it's not Ron Weasley. Okay? Like, I don't care, right? But it would be really easy to just destroy her at a hit piece like that. And, like, she does not realize the flimsy stack of cards she stands upon. Ron Possible. Wait, are they related? Are Ron and Kim related? Are they, like, siblings?
Handle the Chris situation.
I don't remember. It's been like a billion years. No, okay.
Badly. Next is
Oh, it's Ron Stoppable. Okay.
YouTuber Saberspark, who primarily makes animated themed content and generally seems not to care about the situation unless he's listed as an employer of Chris.
Yeah, like why should he care? I think he's her friend from school or something. Yeah.
Contacted Saber through his staff, and here are the Discord messages to prove that. I hate it here. There were talks of a hiring change, and I assume Chris was terminated from working with Steven due to that. Cool. One less thing to worry about.
Cool. One less thing to worry about. Could you be any more blatant? It is so obvious that this is you doing a hit piece. All right? Jesus Christ. What up, Ace?
Got worse. Turns out nothing happened. Cool.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
I tried following up, but never heard anything. Cut to November of this year, where Steven is mentioned in that email asking for an NDA to look into the Chris issue. This eventually escalated into a public spectacle when I shared the NDA email on Twitter. One of the people in that thread tagged Steven directly, and then, thanks for the support, guys. It's emotionally draining, but I feel like being critical of online spaces, especially when you try to solve things privately first, is important.
Were you able to contact Saber or anyone that currently works for him about Chris?
I contacted Saber through some friends in common, never heard about an official firing, though.
I was never contacted.
By the way, you know what's funny? Really not that hard to just email a YouTuber, okay? She could have just emailed him, all right? Or reached out through any means, actually.
By any friend of yours.
Oh, crazy. It's almost like he's making that exact tweet now.
Ever make any attempt to reach out to me on your own behalf, via Twitter, email, or anywhere else. You are omitting so much information right now, but I'll provide some here and there.
I contacted both blank, blank, and blank. Okay, so I contacted not Saber, and not Saber 3 times. Crazy. All right, what a fucking surprise. You shouldn't hope on other people to be the messengers of your insane stupidity. Okay? If you're going to do it, just go to him.
Post.
Dude, we can talk privately. I have screenshots that I contacted both and
Are you going
like
to
you're
Oh, without telling me the same way you did to Chris too?
All right, well, Saber, you should know that she was going to record the call anyway. You should also record the call if you were going to have a call with her. And also, I like how she doesn't answer the question, by the way. That's very funny.
Privately. I'm not doing this back and forth on Twitter.
Then don't at me with your half-truths and omitted information in order to gain sympathy and slander my name. I'm 100% to debunk every accusation in your video. I have no idea how you can claim due diligence when you never reached out to me.
Don't fucking talk to me like that. Don't call me a fucking liar.
Don't fucking talk to me like that. Don't call me a liar. I'll call you a bunch of other things, you stupid fucking bitch. How about that? Wait. Somebody's saying that I'm wrong when I didn't provide everything that necessary. Wait. This is actually making me misogynistic. I love women. Let it be clear. I love women. But this woman is that woman. Don't talk to me like that. We could actually call you many worse things, actually. It could be even better.
When I have the screenshots to back me up, and if you were aware of the call, then the information got back to you regardless. If there was some decision made,
No,
I never heard about
that's not the point. It's about you going directly to the person. It doesn't matter if it passed through the grapevine to him. It's about you being adult enough and courteous enough to go to the people that are important in the story, right? It's one thing to just throw some drama out there into the ether and go, I wonder who this will touch, versus I'm covering a drama. Let me go talk to the people involved, okay?
it.
I know the Trump accent is like seeping into my normal voice. I need to do other accents. I need to like mix it up, chat. It also doesn't help that we're both from New York, so I just kind of have his accent anyway.
So a couple of things to unpack here besides me not purposely tagging Steven. It was a third party. Regardless, Steven proceeded to call me a liar publicly.
You calling me a liar? I ain't calling you a...
You also the whole like dropping people's names is very funny, right? Because she's trying to power move with that dumb bullshit.
Proceeded to tease me about doing an unsolicited recording and to slander him.
Yeah, you tease me about doing an unsolicited recording. Unsolicited. Okay, pause. Well, maybe unsolicited is the wrong adjective to use in there. I don't know, right? It feels like it's the wrong. It's unsolicited if you send it to someone without them asking for it, correct? So is it like you didn't ask? I don't know. There's probably an adjective to describe that, but it definitely doesn't feel like unsolicited.
Spoken. In print, it's libel.
Some red flags to this response. One.
Some red flags to this response. Bitch, you a red flag, okay? All right, you got like A10 eyes, okay? I know a Yakubian demon when I see one, all right? Well, you were out there working with Yakub in the desert to generate dynamite, all right? I know exactly where you've been.
Steven could have calmly asked who I talked to instead of assuming the worst. 2. His anger was directed at me and not an employer, Chris himself.
Oh my god.
3. Steven is claiming that I never contacted him directly, implying that he'd had no information about this, but admits to knowing the confrontation with Chris was recorded.
Sound like some bullshit to me.
By the way,
Oh my god. Yeah, keep doing those cutaways. Keep doing those
I wasn't
cutaways.
gonna make fun of Steven so much, but I gave him so many chances to communicate with me, and he just didn't do anything. So clearly,
What do you mean? What do you mean? This is... I was giving him so many signals. I talked to everybody but him. Guys, I was putting things out there into the world and I expected a response from him. No, did I talk to him specifically? No, I didn't, but you know. Oh my god.
he doesn't care what I have to say. It's only an issue when there's potential backlash.
I've come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker.
Yeah, you are a bitch-ass liar. I got no horse in this race, man. I'm just sitting here. I'm gooning, I'm goon maxing, and I'm living and loving life. All right, I have no fucking horse in this race. I'm sure you might think I have a horse in this race. You might even concoct some conspiracy theory saying I do, but I couldn't have less of a horse in this race. You just a fucking liar.
He pissed on my fucking wife. That's right. He said his dick was this big, and I said that's disgusting. So I'm making a call-out post on my...
You know, this is actually... This is actually really, really stupid. It's so lame to do this, too. Would it have killed you to just get somebody else to do the voiceover? Like, you did that for some other jokes. The grooming joke had a voiceover, and you couldn't get it for this one?
Twitter.com! Shadow the Hedgehog, you got a small fucking dick! It's the size of this walnut, but way fucking smaller! And guess what? Here's what my dong looks like! That's right,
Oh my god.
baby! All points! No quills! No pillows! Look at that! It looks like 2 balls and a bong! He fucked my wife, guess what?
I will say, Saber Spark is an obscene maximum level gooner. Alright? Like, Saber Spark is Goonus Maximus, alright? I don't know of another way to describe when I look at his content, because he do be talking about porn an awful lot. More than me, which is kind of saying something. And sometimes his thumbnails have it, too. And I'm just like, damn. This guy goons.
Gonna fuck the earth! That's right! That's what you get! My super laser piss! Except I'm not gonna piss on the Earth. I'm going higher. I'm gonna piss on the moon.
I'm gonna piss on Discord. You literally need to get a life. You literally need to get a life. Bitch, you are over 30. You might actually need to go to a grippy sock vacation if Discord has this much of a mental impact on you.
How do you like that, oh bomber? You have 23 hours before the piss droplets fall on the Earth. Now get.
Twitter people are saying Saberspark raped someone. Is this video going to talk about it? Yeah, it will. But there is increasing mounting evidence that the events that the quote-unquote raped described are not what actually happened. And there is also a chance that those messages that they post, or not the messages, but like the narrative they prescribed was coached. Okay? So even if anything happened, the well is poisoned so much, it would be unreasonable to take it at face value. Yeah, I know it's from the Shadow the Hedgehog. It's a bitch-ass motherfucker clip. And they definitely didn't cite that source, which is funny because they did that for many other things, but not this.
Out of my fucking sight before I piss on you too!
So what I think happened is that Steven was informed by Pim, didn't know it came from me, discussed it, blew it off, or decided it was nothing, and forgot about it until he started facing some public backlash and proceeded to blame me. Because he was so concerned with direct communication, I ended up sending him this email detailing who I talked to, why this is important, and why this isn't a single incident.
Okay, so you didn't talk to him directly until after you went public. And now you're treating it as what? He should have reached out to you? Why? It's on you, not on him.
Good afternoon, Steven. This email is your requested private communication regarding Chris and the overall sexual
There's
harassment
definitely
situation.
more about the Saberspark story that could come out. And let me just say that given some things I know that I'm not going to discuss right now, because it's not mine to discuss, there is mounting evidence that Saberspark is gonna be okay.
Caused. Our full incident report can be found here if needed. Since you publicly displayed confusion at best about my attempted communication with you prior to this point, below are
You're
screenshots of
such
my
a
conversation-
fucking Karen. I swear to God, dude. I know that I'm gonna get like, if she were to see this, I'd be labeled with everything under the sun, right? Racist, misogynistic, anti-Semitic, this, that, the other thing, right? I have covered so many racist, groiper, annoying, shitty people, okay? But, like, this kind of person that she is, to be a political Andy, because I sometimes, it happens sometimes, right? To be a political Andy, these kind of, to use a political word, these kind of liberals are the exact reason, okay, that we have the orange man back again, 100%, okay?
aka the friends/employees I passed Chris's information to. The conversation with specifically mentions a possible staffing change based on Chris's actions, and I honestly...
The conversation was slur, and slur.
cannot fathom a situation where there would be that drastic of an employee change or discussion without your knowledge. Screenshots can be found here, here, and here. I do not appreciate you calling me a liar publicly, and I would like some form of public apology. He didn't give me one. Additionally, your public statement states that
boo-hoo, you want a public apology.
you knew the confrontation between me and Chris was recorded as a matter of community safety. Combined with your email interactions with EA Games lead me to believe that, unless there was some major miscommunication, you were aware of the situation you have chosen inaction. You still have the choice to either hold Chris accountable, i.e. firing him with proof, or keep him on staff. Should you choose the former, please communicate this to me as soon as possible to avoid any miscommunication in any public statement/information present after.
If you only believe this is only a one-time incident in this document, blah, 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 inappropriate behavior, making bestiality jokes. God, could you believe it? He made a joke about white women fucking dogs, and I found that quite preposterous. To someone he knew was a minor. I do believe we are lacking evidence for that as well, but, we do be living in a society. Blah, blah, blah. You still have the choice to either hold Chris accountable, firing him with proof, or keeping him on staff. Should you choose the former, please communicate this to me as soon as possible to avoid any miscommunication. Okay, if he fires Chris, why does she need to know? Why does she need to know if he does something internally with his business? Why are you PJW now? Okay, guys, not every single accent I do is some annoying guy. Let's yeah, I have the choice to hold Chris accountable, firing him with proof, or keeping him on staff. You should choose the former. Please communicate this to me as soon as possible to avoid any miscommunications and public statements / information you present afterwards. There we go. Imagine my shock.
If you believe this is a one-time incident, this document linked below has logged some of Chris's other inappropriate behavior, including but not limited to making bestiality jokes to someone he knew as a minor, and the use of the N-word and Nazi imagery with himself in Will of DA games. You can find more information on page 4 and 29 of this document. I've been clearance to show unedited screenshots of the
Can you say I work out at the library in a President Sunday voice? Tyler, I work out at the library. I work out at the library, Tyler. That was that.
bestiality incident if requested. I hope that we can clearly communicate about this going forward. I have no desire to get into an internet squabble with you, so let's please work this out like adults. And do you know what happened? No response to the email, but suddenly the Twitter exchange got deleted? Where did it go?
Oh, that's not good. You shouldn't have deleted it, Saber.
Nowhere to be found. No apology, no clarification. Just deleted the evidence that he knew about the situation and covered his
Let me be clear. And then I become invisible.
tracks and enable the weird dude because God forbid Steven have to find a new editor or even do the public apology that I asked him to when he...
Why does he have to do a public apology? Why does everything have to happen in public? Do you think the internet is like how businesses do everything? Why would I fucking tell you if I let someone go from my business?
falsely threw me under the bus. I believe Steven realized I wasn't lying, and instead of talking to me directly or apologizing to me, he just deleted the thread. So, if Steven wasn't hiding anything or wasn't sus, why didn't he just ask me about the Chris stuff? He just assumed automatically that I was lying and started yelling. Very defensive. Very sus. What exactly was the move here, Steven? Do you think just deleting a thread, putting your fingers in your ears and going la 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 would make this all go away? More of the story is to fire creepy people on your staff even if it's...
Fire creepy people on your staff.
...inconvenient to you. Steven...
Oh my god. You know, for someone who has hobbyists work at a hobby for free, she sure gives a lot of opinions on what businesses do with their staff that are paid.
It is clear to me that you do not wish to correspond with any direct communication despite you personally requesting so.
Dude, what the fuck? This is fucking, what is this, the Mueller report with the way you're redacting this shit? Okay, lady, it ain't that fucking serious.
To say I'm disappointed with your behavior would be a severe understatement. You called me a liar publicly without even asking for the truth or further clarification. To me, it seems like the only reason why you wanted to get involved is that your name was attached, and you're more interested in damage control for your brand than your brand's actual integrity. I feel like we wouldn't even be having this conversation if there was not another YouTuber in your space. I hope that you can be professional about this going forward, even though, frankly, you haven't been through this entire night.
See you around, kid.
Ordeal, but clearly that is not possible.
Hey Rachel, to start things off.
Did you know if you say sus and flash the Among Us on screen 3 times, we eject you from the airlock? So let me get this straight. This person is using the Saber Spark rape allegations to excuse her airing out petty beef. Well, yeah, you know, her petty beef looks more serious when she puts it right next to the rape allegations.
I replied to you on Twitter the way I did, out of frustration due to the misinformation.
I'm sorry, but at this rate, I would just be like, I'm not talking with you anymore, and if you are threatening me right now, then you can talk to my lawyer. Like, I don't... Like this is ridiculous. Like, I'm not gonna spend this time doing this, okay? Like, be upfront and have a conversation with me, but all this, like, nickel and diming, moral flagging behavior is ridiculous.
You have about me, and how you are talking about me without ever contacting me directly prior. I'd imagine you feel the same frustration if someone had incorrect info about you, and probably you do, with how some people went after you in the past with false information.
I listen, generations, blah, 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 but, like, Jesus Christ, dude, millennial entitlement is ridiculous. I don't, like, we don't need to air out all our business on Twitter, right? And the people who air out everything from their relationship to their Discord drama online, it's just, like, so messy. Like, you don't need to tell the world everything about everything.
I truly don't want to engage in internet drama that operates off of gossip.
And if you're like behind the line staff, right? If you're not the guy who presses upload and you get fired, I don't need to tell the public about you being let go. Okay? Because nobody even knew who you were anyway. You edit the videos.
but the amount of misinformation you have is staggering, so I will set the record straight. As far as you and me, I'm dumbfounded. We hung out, and that was it. I'm not sure what you saw in hanging out with me, but we just went our separate ways. All in all, I feel blindsided by your emails, Rachel. How can you say that you come to me as an impartial individual? As far as Chris goes, I heard through second-hand sources of his stupid joke that Chris made amends with you and that was the end of it. Only for me to get accusatory emails months later? You never reached out to me officially, so how could I acknowledge anything besides what... Finally, I do have a lawyer and I will gladly bring him into our conversation to clear the air if needed. Now that it has...
I do think internet drama's getting a little ridiculous with how fast people are willing to litigate. And I think it kind of makes it less fun, because don't get me wrong, I love a good internet beef, but I would be lying if I said I'm not sitting here rubbing my hands together waiting for this lady to get absolutely fucking mollywopped by some rich YouTuber's lawyer.
Come to this degree of misinformation on your end, I will do everything within my power.
To be clear, KP firing you seems to be the best thing to happen to your animation career if you look at the people she let go and beef with. Yeah, literally every time she let someone go from her hobbyist group, they all became much more successful. She was quite literally the ball and chain holding them down.
To clear the record for the truth, and that includes exploring legal avenues if necessary. I hope this information helps and convinces you to reconsider your position. Regards, Stephen.
Steven, you've already passed the allotted time I've given you to deal with the situation privately, as outlined in the...
Oh my god. Oh my god, you didn't reach out to him first, you stupid bitch. I love women. Please let it be known that I love women. I love my women audience. They're so great, and all of them are very hot and sexy and beautiful and talented. Okay? But this lady is not valid. Oh my god. Oh my god. I cannot believe this.
my first email, which I feel is ridiculous considering you had access to this information for more than a year, regardless of where it came from. If you're now going to sit there and threaten me with legality after this many private attempts at communication, I will not be entering any further discussion with you after—
You did not talk to him directly. It is not the same thing to talk to other people.
This last correspondence and cutting contact with you at this point. The reality is I'm incredibly uncomfortable with your general approach in which your previous email and how your public correspondence has been addressed, as well as you in general. So I'll keep this as brief as possible. To add to this whole "I will fight you for the truth" tone your whole last email and the Twitter thread is drenched with undermines the actual issues of the conversation, on top of assuming I'm going to publish falsifiable information.
Dude, I bet you just write the most ridiculous emails when somebody gets your fucking order wrong from Uber Eats, huh?
Is that how you talk to someone who's treated poorly by a current employee in the past? Based on all of your previous conversations—
Yeah, I would scream in your face. I would break social norms if you walked up to me and talked like this. Okay? I would break social norms and make people stare at us as I scream random obscenities at the top of my lungs, simply because it would make you uncomfortable. Okay? I would make myself look like a crazy person if, just for a small moment, it made you feel some way uncomfortable.
Forgive me if you're not on the top of my list of people who treat me with assumed respect. In regards to your response on my Twitter posting, your heated response calling me a liar and questioning my character publicly—
I would literally chimp out, yes.
—is unacceptable. How you were particularly feeling at the time doesn't justify calling people names and treating them poorly. As well, you could have DM'd me as requested several times.
Dude, why this whole, like, you should have reached out to me thing is absolutely insane. Oh my god. Remember guys, she got PTSD from a tasteless joke. So much so she needed a service dog, yeah.
Or ask for further information—
I will say every single slur in every single language. Dude, the language she has in this email is outrageous, dude. She's talking like a Gilded Age railroad owner, okay? In regards to your response to my Twitter posting, your heated tone calling me a liar and questioning my character publicly is unacceptable. How you were particularly feeling at the time doesn't justify calling people names and treating them poorly. As well as you could have DM'd me as requested several times, or asked for further information before responding in such tone. When I asked regarding this exchange is for you to apologize publicly for something you did publicly. Yes, I know I started it publicly, but I'm asking you to end it publicly by agreeing to my demands. Dude, Saber Spark could absolutely smack this lady down. I am a little worried that he is not going to do that, but he could.
Before responding in such a tone.
I'm going to need you to complain about the poor's unionizing. I've set a collection of Pinkerton agents on those filthy unionizing railroad workers. Yes, they don't live with their families and have to work 12 hours a day, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Yes, they did kill 18 of them, including the union leader, so I guess that's solved now.
When all I asked regarding this exchange
Have you guys ever seen the show The Warrior? I think it's the Showtime show. That's got some crazy, like, Gilded Age rich people in it, man. It's insane.
for you to apologize publicly for something you did publicly, you instead doubled down in the last message and tried to justify your feelings, and only privately at that. This doesn't strike me as someone who's dealing with the situation with the utmost maturity, but a desperate attempt to
You're not mature either.
distract from the actual issues and make yourself the victim. The fact that you're going about this route again, even after
I want to talk to this lady so bad. I want to talk to this lady so bad. I don't know. Can we make that happen? Please. I know that I've been insulting you for the past over like 5 hours of streaming content.
proved I wasn't lying the first time is fucking deranged. Regarding your access to
I can't believe that Slug interviewed her. Does that not absolutely astound you guys? I mean, good for him. He did apparently a good job for what I heard, but yes.
the information about the incident regarding Chris, and your insistence that I was the one who directly discussed the information about Chris instead of your general access to said information seems to be misguided. Do I have to tell you?
Those were U.S. steel mill workers, actually. I couldn't remember if it was steel mill or railroad.
Directly what to do with an employee incident of this scale for anything to happen? I shared the confirmation I had from both that you had said information, which came off as indifference based on what I felt, as well as your correspondence with DA Games alluding to such, as well as there being a public safety report available with public contact information present for over a year regarding the situation. So I don't understand how it's particularly relevant how you learned your employee sexually harassed someone in the past. It just matters that it happened. Even assuming you didn't know.
So if somebody sexually harasses someone ever, should they just never have a job ever? Like, okay, like unironically, let's talk about this like genuinely, right? If you have an employee who does something that is not a crime, but is a moral folly, what do you do about it, right? Like, what do you do? Unironically. Because I feel like with time, you have less that you could do. If it happens at your workplace between two employees, yeah, have HR get involved, and then probably that person who did the harassing behavior is gone, right? And obviously you wouldn't give them a fucking reference, right? But if it happened a long time ago and somebody's character has changed and they're not like a danger to society or other people, why are we doing this? Like, unironically, what are you supposed to never have a job ever? You know, you commit a crime, you go to jail, you do the time, you come out, you should be able to rejoin society. But even with social stuff, jail aside, right? Like prison, obviously people are not allowed to rejoin society for some reason because we live in America and yada, yada, yada. But like the same thing happens with like stuff on Twitter where if you get canceled fucking 6 years ago, 6 years later, you're still answering for your crimes of committing a social foible and you're never allowed to move on from it. So it's like, if this guy did something stupid a decade ago, should he really be forced to never re-enter the working world ever again? Like, what the fuck should he do? He's got, like, a family, and he needs to, like, pay for a living, okay? Many people consider me a bit prudish, and not even I would care this much about a decade-old tasteless joke that wasn't even made in my presence. She does seem like she would call up his McDonald's at this point. Like, she really does seem like she wants him to beg for her to let him to have a job. Yeah, like, that's literally what it looks like. Like, is she just going to chase him around to every single employer and be like, you know he said something mean about me a long time ago? Considering the amount of time it's been since the joke was made and the fact the guy has 1, apologized, and 2, gotten therapy, there isn't really much to do other than keeping an eye on them. Yeah, and it's just like, if he's not really doing anything, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I would keep as much of an eye on him as I would anybody else, but it's just like, there's nothing actionable that can be done. Like, period. Diesel, I've had 2 people have an incredibly sexist conversation about whores in the Philippines in front of me. Went to their boss about it. He asked me what I wanted done. They apologized. They were generally good people. It was a one-off thing. We just moved on. Yeah, it's just like, not everything needs to end with like, which by the way, that's a great example of not everything needs to end with somebody losing their job and their entire career being upended. 2 people, former Marines. Well, you know, I'm not really surprised from that population anyway to be saying something like that in the of to each other, right? So that's not really surprising either. But it's like you could either press that and be like, I don't feel safe, I want them fired, blah blah blah, right? But it's just like, you can't go around to somebody's job forever all the time saying get them fired. Like, there really needs to be, I don't know, like a statute of limitations on the reparations of social justice that can be done or something. Like, I don't know of another way to put it.
About Chris's actions up to the Twitter exchange, I still emailed you directly to discuss it before it reached this point, and you seemed to ignore that email and only responded to a second after my frustration became clearer. To be frank, it doesn't matter how the perpetrator feels how the resolution went, but the fact that it happened in the first place is unacceptable. Chris is, very obviously, going to tell you whatever you need to hear to keep his job. It's alright, guys, the criminal said the crime actually wasn't so bad after all. Hell, it doesn't even matter how I feel about it.
I know, she's
Still,
acting like it happened yesterday. Yes, she could have just never interacted with him. It's not co-signing that behavior, but it's just like, you need to be able to, like, protect yourself. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about this all the time, where people are like in a Discord call where somebody is being like bad or something, and we're like, why don't you hang up? It's been a decade. Why don't you just not interact with him? Like, nobody's saying that what he said was appropriate to say about you. Nobody is saying that. I mean, personally, if I knew, I know that there have been multiple people who've had sex in the presence of watching my streams, and that made me uncomfortable. But there's really nothing I can do about it other than ignore those people. You know, I don't know what to do about that. There's nothing really I can do. It happened. I gotta just be like, well, I guess I'm not going to get near those people again. I will say, though, part of it did feed my ego that somebody was piping somebody else, and that person wasn't thinking of them. They were thinking of me. KP acts like there's no redemption for people. She acts like there's no possibility that Chris has learned to grow from this joke. This is the same puritanical mindset behind cancel culture. Yeah, I mean, like, Jesus Christ. Could you blame me? Could you blame me, chat? Okay? They were bumping uglies, but really I was there in spirit. Okay? Apparently there was also a referee watching. That was a new one I found out recently. There were 3 people, and I was somehow in the room when it happened, so it was actually like 4 people. I was there in spirit, okay? Closer to when I found this out, I was more perturbed about this, but now not so much. Let's be real, they were both thinking of you. Don't fucking... Oh. You know, the real problem with the situation is that I didn't get any, you know? Like, where's my 10-piece chicken nugget, man? What chair was the ref sitting in? I don't even know if he was sitting in a chair or just standing there, to be honest. But it's like when stuff like that happens, what else can you do aside from like separate yourself? Like, what am I supposed to do? And like, I'm playing it for laughs now, but when I first heard about it, I was actually disturbed by it, right? So it's like, nobody will take me seriously, one, because I'm a man, right? And they'll be like, oh, well, men always blah, 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 right? So they'll just never take me seriously. Unironically, chat, I was actually a little freaked out when I first found out about this, all right? But now I'm like, I don't care, right? But, you know, like, fuck. Like, what am I supposed to do? There's really nothing I can do.
You were so concerned with my personal opinion on the matter to the point whether it would directly dictate your decision to keep Chris on staff or not. I do not, for the life of me, understand why you didn't reach out to me, directly or indirectly through our friends. Great job updating me on the current status of Chris's employment, even now, by the way. Good job. 10 out of 10. Regardless, this isn't a joke.
By the way, there's also been times where people have sent me message requests, and they've just straight up been like, I watched stream and masturbated to you, and motherfucker, you have your profile picture on twitter.com. I know what your face looks like. Okay, and you were like, I literally jerked off to you. Like, brother, you gave that unsolicited. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that information? How often does this happen? The one where the people fucked was like just a, you know, honestly, I don't know, but definitely more than 5 times. Would you though? It's never the people that I would that say those things. It's always the people that you never want to that do.
Your insistence as such is the underlying problem of this whole situation. How is it a fucking joke to say you ejaculated on your boss's clothing and say that to other men multiple times? It cannot and should not be belittled as just drama. Why would I have gone through the trouble?
I watch stream. You know, good behavior, honestly. I'll admit I've gooed to your stream before. Well, now I can't take anybody seriously because now everybody's going to be like, I'm gooning right now.
Corresponding with DA Games or having a safety report be written if I just thought it was just a joke. I was and am worried about the children Chris and the greater DA Games community still have access to. Even if I had forgiven Chris for some reason, it wouldn't be relevant.
Would you just think of the children? Would you think of the children?
Even still, you seem to show anger that I got Chris's confession on record in comparison, you know, what he actually confessed to with your comment stating, are you going to record the call without telling me the same way you did Chris? To be clear, he is not the victim. Full stop. Neither are you for that matter, Mr. Truth Seeker. Publicly throwing the actual recipient under the bus.
Monitor. All right, I'm starting to think you were telling the truth.
Siding with the sexual harasser just because he did not know he was going to be on record as a savior concern, on top of being incorrect about your information, is one of the most idiotic parts of this whole ordeal. I felt it was very obvious that the intention was a recording for the public record, and a possible angle interpretation of him being blindsided by a bad joke turned public because I want to be a bitch and cause problems is just insulting.
This is actually, you're mentally ill. This is mentally ill behavior.
Respectful on so many levels. Or how you put it, publicly discussing half-truths to gain sympathy and slander your name. Spoiler alert, this isn't about you. Additionally, the fact that I went out of my way to privately talk to you directly after several attempts to seek resolution with the staff and wanted to ask on the Twitter thread and still did not receive a response until sending a second email.
Happy like, that's my secret, Diesel. I'm always going. Listen, man, I know it's my fault my audience is like this. And honestly, if you want to have sex with the stream on, go right ahead. All right? But like, if you're going to tell me, at least make sure the story is interesting, okay? That's all I ask. That's all I ask. But I know that I generated this audience, all right?
Outlining my frustration is just ridiculous. I then even provided additional proof of racism and Nazi imagery that Chris and Will displayed. There are even incidents of lolicon/child pornography and sharing that material with minors.
I live in
allegedly
Houston, Texas, and I'm really hype. But I just want to share the news with this cosmic.
On the document,
I mean, you talk about gooning, you should expect it. I mean, yeah. Well, like, I try to propose an ethical gooning philosophy. You know, like a kind of philosophy for the ethical gooner.
As well, dating a minor in 2015. If we only knew what Saber Spark thought about lolicon.
What would you do if a video on the hub had your stream on in the background? I mean, it would be a funny joke. Honestly, like, I'd be like, I mean, it happened to Nicholas Diorio, right? So, like, it could happen to me one day. Would you comment on the vid? I mean, I don't have a hub account, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you, but...
On. Oh, wait.
As is following grew.
It was, yes, it did. It did happen to Nicholas Diorio. It was a long time ago. Yeah. It was 2 individuals there bumping uglies, and one of the individuals who was a political streamer said that pussy is poggers, And needless to say, the entire commentary community was like, "Oh my god, Nicholas Dioreo's in a sex tape." And yes, they were fucking while watching a Dioreo stream. Make one just for that vid, dummy. Oh. Yeah.
Publicly outspoken with his dislike of lolicon and similar taboo art styles. For those who are not familiar with them, let's just say it's
This additional document has been publicly available for over 2 years. The DA Games community server has had pedophiles that were quietly kicked out if/when discovered instead of publicly acknowledged. One has a
Why should you... Hey, every time a pedophile is kicked from a server, you should make a public Twitter announcement being like, ding, 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 another pedophile has been caught in our server and we removed them. Like... Then it just make it look like you're harboring pedophiles in your Discord server. Okay, it would send the exact opposite message. Moderation behaviors in a Discord server shouldn't be, like, constantly announced by a public announcement.
Fucking mugshot on the document. Since this all seems to have gone ignored until now, on top of the safety report of the incident being
Like,
publicly
could you
available for over a
imagine?
year.
Ding, 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 another gooner in Diesel's server. Yeah, I can't. Like, if it happened again, I wouldn't tell Listen, when it happened the first time, I didn't tell everybody. But then it, like, got out of hand, and everybody was finding out about it.
It solidifies to me my original assumption that you do only care when you have consequences for your lack of action. God forbid someone is a creep on my staff, just don't tell the public he works for me. Does it not seem like common sense to fire someone who talks this way about others, especially women, regardless of when it happened?
Oh
The
my
angels of openness,
god, dude. Oh my god.
though, I am open to do an on-the-record three-way conversation between you and myself to get to the truth of the matter at a later
You,
time.
N-word,
but
and myself? What is...
that will
Dude,
be at your
she's
discretion as
literally
his boss.
written an essay here, okay? They ain't no chat GPT. This is just unfiltered media literacy 102 in here.
And at his comfort level. As I want to honor request to not be involved anymore and not emotionally distress him. But bluntly, I will not tolerate the consistent implications of untruthfulness until this happens. Can reach out in the future if he is interested and comfortable about a possible conversation. Lastly, as I don't want to get too personal, but it's absolutely laughable that you consider your romantic interest in me and our friendship ending as mutually parting ways.
Dude, the romantic interest debate, man. The romantic interest.
Like, what fucking planet are you on? Is that how you summarize every one of your failed courtships? Let me refresh you on the experience.
Oh my god, this lady and her courtship. Oh my god. Oh.
After months of spending
The
time together in
romantic
person,
interest debate. Guys, we need Destiny to really weigh in on this romantic interest debate. We need somebody who has a really messy romantic life to weigh in on this lady's messy romantic life.
your insistence that we were just friends, your goal seemingly was instead to spend time with me and see if I would change my mind and be open to a romantic relationship. At that time, I felt like I'd finally had found a like-minded content creator and friend close and distant to me. I think I even said something along the lines of, these feel like dates, I'm just making sure we're hanging out as friends, right?
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, you're such an actually, girly. I literally be doing this.
Distance, I felt manipulated and pressured to say I was open to dating in order to not lose that friendship. You then dated Gabe's sister over me and then asked about my dating availability immediately after that ended. I tried to play it off but was uncomfortable with the whole situation. I felt like I was only important to you if I was dateable and a backup option at that.
Dude,
I had been treated
I'm
the same way as
literally
a
gonna
potential
do
friend
an
if I was male
entire
identified.
second stream on this and still not get to the fucking Saber Spark allegations.
This is the whole reason I went to your staff in the first place and not you directly. I felt objectified by my direct experiences towards you and did not wish to repeat said
Oh
experiences.
my
for the sake
god, dude. She's always a victim when it's fucking dramatically convenient for her too. That's the worst part of this.
of my own mental health. But you implied you needed the clarification, so there you go, buddy. At this point, I feel exacerbated with the favor I've given you and others, personally and professionally, so I'll be ending the conversation here. To remind you, I am not a third party in the situation trying to get cheap or easy views off a popular content creator. This is how
Yeah,
Chris treated
okay. She reminds me of the ACC. Totally, dude. Totally. She has ACC written all over her. Which, by the way, she is friends with an ACC content creator.
me behind my back. This is how he never owned up to those actions till I had to find out about them myself. This is how his behavior has continued. This is how the greater DA Games community could be potentially harmful to children. This is on top of Chris's misogynistic...
The thing is that you don't care about the children. You don't care about all these actual issues, okay? You care about yourself and nothing else. And you just find it convenient to tack that on.
anti-Semitic behavior that I stupidly forced myself to tolerate when he worked for me. And the fact that I have to sit here and fight and scream and kick for anyone to take this seriously is so emotionally draining, triggering, and insulting. This whole situation has been a nightmare, but I'm not going to sit here and let everyone else pretend it's just a joke out of public convenience. And I would bet good money that he's still on your payroll. I'm at a loss for words. Frankly, I do not have the patience or emotional bandwidth for your tone, your constant visualization, or
Dude, she's using like the bold syntax.
to discuss this further with you at this point for your own perceived direct benefit. To be blunt, you
Yeah,
triggered
the
the
Pixel Kitty. Yeah, I was in the video. This was such a mess. Yeah, we got through the interview. I kind of put it on 2x speed because there was a lot of nothing in it, but
shit out of me, Steven. And I still tried multiple times to communicate with you, but ultimately was met with silence until now. You were screaming on Twitter like a child at me for months after trying to get any kind of internal word on Chris, and the information being in the public eye, and you still haven't fucking apologized for any of it. How do you think this makes me feel? On top of that, only then to even be taking it seriously because I might make a video and hurt other people's reputation really shows me how being affected by all this really matters in the long run to you. Sexual harassment, use of Nazi imagery, pedophilia, fine to sweep it on the rug, just don't bring it up on Twitter.
Ramesses.
oh my god. You know, when people talk about like the public aspect of drama happening and possibly hurting other people's reputations, there are certain groups of people who always be like, well, why do you care about that part? It's just like the internet. Or they kind of say like, oh, interesting how you only cared when this was going to affect your fame. And it's like, no shit, this is how these people make their money. It's reasonable for these people to be worried or annoyed or look at it and go, how should I react to this? Because it could affect them, right? To act like it doesn't matter when it's convenient in a drama so that way you could look morally superior is just ignoring that these things don't exist in a vacuum. Like, a YouTuber drama is going to affect YouTubers who rely on their audience and the relationships that they have with them in order to make money. Okay, so when you email Saberspark saying that, it's like, yeah, no shit he cares about that. That's how he pays the bills. Let's see. Reminder, me and Anon asked her to remove these jokes multiple times, and she told us it was on par with the channel, and I got confirmation from her. She added the Lily shit for views and reach. Of course.
Bring this upon yourself.
Part whatever. Chris isn't the victim. Chris isn't the victim.
You know, she showed it to a bunch of people. Yeah. She just didn't take the notes.
I can't believe I have to even have this segment, but with the implication of Steven's, what are you going to do, record me comment on top of Chris's statement?
Yeah, what, like, let's be real, honestly, of course you were gonna record the situation, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's completely reasonable to be like, what are you gonna do, record me? All right? Let's really nickel and dime this. I hope you're living in a single-party consent state.
Talking about the recording being without his knowledge, let's just clear this up. So firstly, as already stated, I thought it was obvious that a call was being recorded for safety reasons.
I thought it was obvious. Okay, no. All right, here's the thing. If I don't say I'm recording a call and I'm doing a story, just assume I'm recording the fucking call, right? But that's because I'm a drama YouTuber and I'm probably already knowing the answers when I get into that call. Okay? 2, if you don't do that regularly, it is quite honest. Okay, here's the thing. When you do drama, you don't want to lie to people, right? So if you're going to record a call, it is appropriate decorum to say, hey, just so you know, I'm going to record this fucking call, right? It's an appropriate decorum to say, I'm going to record the call, right? Because the only times that you should be using deception with a source or somebody you're covering a story is when there is no other way to get that information out of them, right? So you should only be deceiving when there's no other option. Otherwise, be upfront and honest, because that is what builds your reputation. You don't want to build the reputation of being the person who records a call and never tells people so that way they could have files on top of files in secret, because then people will never trust you. Right? You want to build trust. And the way you do that is by being honest. When you be open and frank with people, they're more willing to be open and frank with you. And you'd be surprised how many times people will speak on record even though you say you're recording them. Okay?
Because it's about sexual harassment. It's not like a fun call. Like, I thought it was obvious. Obviously it wasn't. This isn't just someone calling me a bitch or something subliminally small. Like, this is someone using the fact that I am a girl as a way to negatively sexualize me to make themselves feel better.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why do you think you're so hot, bitch? What are you on about?
I have to say that's not okay. Additionally, this is someone I trusted enough to represent me at a convention. This isn't just some rando being a dick because he's mad at me for existing on the internet. I think that's why this sucks a little bit more.
Figures, because bitches love bringing up old stuff.
Oh boy, don't this clip have some fucking irony to it, huh? Oh my god. What did she mean by this? I mean, she is an expert in media literacy. What does she mean by this?
Something else to keep in mind is the loss of reputation, which is hard to recover from. How do the receivers of the story, knowing that it's false or not, going to feel about the person who the story is being told about? I didn't know this was happening, and I can't defend myself or my reputation if I'm not there. If it was a collaborator I was interested in working with at the time, he would definitely have negative feelings about working with me now. What happens if the story spreads or even becomes distorted through a game of telephone and changes
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
depending on the teller? First impressions can last months or even years, and will psychologically affect personal treatment and ideals, even the fact of contrary evidence. See, the political landscape. This is not something Chris came to me about after it happening. We seemingly had a decent rapport up to this point. Chris could have admitted this happened years ago, and I would have still been pissed, but at least he would have owned up to it and maybe made a public apology.
Could you? It wouldn't have mattered when he told you this, man. We would have just been doing this earlier or now.
Instead, I had to hear it from a witness. It makes me feel like crap. It makes me feel like
honestly, you finding about it. We're okay. First of all, we're an hour and 26 minutes into this. A majority of this video has been about how you felt uncomfortable about a decade-old gooning joke, okay? And you also kind of brush over something that could have been a much more serious story with the DA game stuff. Like, I don't... Like, this is such a bungling of, like, a serious allegation tied in with, like, your dumb, petty bullshit, okay? Because you want to be the biggest pick-me main character in existence.
Safety and privacy is less important than convenience or the bro code. At the same point, I want to analyze the implications of mistreatment. Like, if Chris really felt this way, I don't know why it didn't come up at that moment he was making those jokes, or after, or even when I confronted him. It came up on an apology statement as a vague reference. This is actual sexualized art, a sexualized story, buying me a Discord figure years ago. And he also made comments on my body when I did the ice bucket challenge. So, 3 sex things plus a potential romantic gesture. Chris maybe have been—
Dude, this lady, what do you keep notes on things men say about you a decade ago?
because I didn't reciprocate romantic feelings or something. Turns out editing for free isn't a winning strategy for dating KP.
Oh my god.
And then things got
The
worse.
simps. Dude, you want simps so bad. I'm sure there's simps that want you, because I have a feeling the gender ratio, the community you're in, is heavily skewed male, but like...
Hi, I'm Courtney. You may know me as Pete or Orchard, but honestly, call me what you like. KP reached out to me a few weeks ago asking me—
Courtney, no. You cannot be kidding me, dude. Oh boy. Okay. Let's set the scene. Chat, let's talk about rape. There's been a lot of talk about that tonight. Okay. Courtney Orchard is the victim of Lily Orchard, who, without getting too deep into the weeds, Lily Orchard is a lol cow and did some rape. Lily Orchard is pretty fucking bad, and we could spend a really long time covering Lily Orchard. I am not going to do that right now. She did some rape. She's one of Lily's victims, yes. And yes, the video that broke Chud. Yes. And it of course is a very big story. And there are many, many, many parts to the Lily Orchard story. Courtney is but one of them, and Courtney is the most vocal. In the time since Lily Orchard has been ostracized and lambasted into oblivion, Courtney has made a internet career. Not to say that she does this full time, but she spends pretty much all her time online, being the victim. The entire being of Courtney is, I was a victim of Lily Orchard, and also wants to tell people how they can and cannot talk about it. It's a little weird how much time and energy Courtney puts into this. And honestly, I find it a little weird and suspect. For example, there's another streamer who's covered this stuff before. The TLDW for all of that is that it was a Psy and like maybe like one or two others, but the long and short of it is that Courtney was getting into beef with them because they made an uncouth joke. Yeah, Courtney's crazy. Courtney's crazy. There we go. I said it. Fuck it. Fuck it. This bitch is fucking nuts. The bitch is fucking nuts. Excuse me. Let me just lay it out simply. Right? But if I were to make a joke or cover this as like a URR based scenario, yeah. Lily's nuts. And I don't know of another way to put it other than that this bitch should really stop talking about being the raped.
To cover the Gabe story in more detail, as she was busy working on this video here, and I unfortunately have a fair share of experience with recognizing online grooming, and am pretty unashamed in speaking out
I needed to bring in an expert to talk about online grooming, so I brought in the most groomed person I know.
loudly against it. Gabriel C. Brown, also known as Black Griffin Online, has had growing
Yeah, the
speculations
whole
and
April Fool's joke issue is weird. Yeah, I don't even... They really shouldn't have gotten so much shit from Courtney.
concerns regarding his relationship with his now wife and voice actress of Sweetie Belle and My Little Pony. From most accounts, it looks as if Gabe had groomed his now wife from the time she was 14 until she pursued him herself at the age of 20. After their announced engagement and subsequent marriage, Gabe faced growing accusations online of grooming his wife. He dismissed the accusations under the guise that he had not known her prior to her being 20.
That's nothing. I'm sorry. If KP wants to litigate her drama, fine. But we are really, really far off the beaten path if this is where we're at, okay?
And any interactions they did have while she was a minor were strictly professional and in convention spaces only. A Google document has since been created compiling evidence from Gabe and his wife's own Twitter
Call me a shih tzu the way I'm being groomed all the time.
and YouTube accounts proving these dismissals to be false, as well as proving multiple other instances of Gabe showcasing problematic behavior. I've covered the topic in a little more depth in an hour-long video on my channel, which will no doubt be linked in the description.
Okay, listen, if you are a grooming victim, it is probably unhealthy for you to cover other grooming stuff, okay? You don't need to be Chris Hansen because you were groomed, all right? Go have a normal fucking life. Go do other things. Stop re-traumatizing yourself. You're not helping anybody. You're not an expert in grooming. You're just a victim.
Description below. Anyway, I'm sprinkled throughout this video a few times, so I shall see you all in my next segment.
The following is anonymous victim testimony regarding an interaction a fan had with the YouTuber Saber Spark. This testimony was first shared publicly on Twitter within the production of this video. All things stated by third parties are opinions or interpretations of alleged events and information provided this far, not accusations. Okay. All testimony is just that, testimony. I nor any other third party are speaking testimony as fact or accusation. This is like the biggest, like... Listen, you're just saying, I have no evidence for any of this. Please don't sue me. This don't sue me statement.
I became a fan of Saber Spark when I was in high school when I found
Okay,
his
and
essay
then
titled
we read like literally all of this. Okay, so this person was like, I had a sexual encounter with Saber Spark, blah, 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 blah. I'm just skipping. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this shit.
Con in 2013.
Oh my
This time we
God.
met in a public space, but had
It's literally the exact thing. Yeah, I literally opened last stream by reading this, so I'm just gonna skip. Yeah, it's someone said. Also, if you disagree or you're against the victim. Yeah, something is really this Saber Spark allegation has something rotten in Denmark. Okay, there's something real rotten about this story.
several instances of his friends attempted to justify him and others' actions. I was not made aware of his jokes about consent and his recent behavior involving Chris until only recently, and it left my stomach in knots. I please ask above all else for my
So
privacy
this
to
is
be respected.
between
I
like
don't
a
wish to
fan
publicly
and Saber Spark, right? A
defend my
long time
personal
ago.
experience, and just wish to share my experience.
And it's all testimony. There's no evidence of anything whatsoever. Okay, and none of it can be backed up. And it's all serendipitously missing or gone. And then also, there's no reason for Courtney to be here if this is about Saberspark. You, like the chatter said, the only reason Courtney is on here is as a token CSA victim. Okay. Also, not a child. Saberspark fucked an adult.
Welcome to the video where we break this down a little bit more and talk about what is consent, because yeah, it's an important discussion.
Oh my
here.
God, what is consent? So imagine you had a pot of tea. We were told there is evidence that prove things, but it's not in here. Yeah, I'm beginning, based off of what I know, there's nothing.
So because this is a really serious conversation, and I know almost nothing about sexual assault, I invited Courtney, again, she's all over this video, to talk about
Diesel,
like what...
This Yakubian snow devil is a pain. Pain to listen to. Promote your company. That's right. I have Mana Potion coffee. We do fair trade organic, USDA organic fair trade coffee. You can go check us out over here, over on our website. We got tons of base stuff. By the way, the lemonade is back. If you want the lemonade, it's very based, very delicious, very good. I sometimes make it with tequila. And that is delicious. Okay, I make a little drink. We also got tea as well, so definitely check out our teas. They're very poggies, and yes, this one has titties on it, so please feel free to look at the titties. Let's have a tequila night, boss. I need to. It's been a long time.
What is consent, and when consent is there, and when it's not there. We're having a great time here at the
Speaking of, you can test out consent being like tea by buying my tea. Use code D10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Select items.
And just kind of break it down so we have a better understanding.
I'm sorry, but I feel like somebody who's a victim of CSA is like not the same thing as a consent expert. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they'd pass. They'd fail the vibe check. You know what I mean? like they've been on the receiving end of unconsensual, so maybe they're a bit skewed.
There, don't do something really, really bad like this. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Hi again, Courtney. Welcome. You'll be in the video everywhere at this point.
Hello, everybody. It is I. I have
There's
returned.
no reason for you to be here, Courtney. There's actually no reason for you to be here. Why are you speaking on it?
Once again, so happy to be here.
So I've shown you the testimony at this point. What are your general vibes on it besides icky and sad?
What are your general vibes on it? What is this shit? What is this shit? Me walking up to the survivor of a violent crime and being like, look at this violent crime. Does it remind you of your violent crime?
I don't know. This is just like super triggering to me because, yeah, so I thought I'd also bring you in here to hold my hand during this, but yeah.
Yeah, let's bring two people who are the triggered to review things that are triggering.
In terms of the testimony, it's just kind of heartbreaking, really. It's always heartbreaking to me when people question their own sexual assault just because of the lack of education around it.
Oh my God, you're not an expert in this. If I ever hook up with a fan, that hookup encounter is going to start with you signing in triplicate, okay? I'm going to have a lawyer in the room. He's going to be refereeing the entire time, all right? I'm going to have a professional legal cuck in the room.
And, like, Something that I just want to say to anybody out there
Yeah,
is
the sound mixing is ridiculous. Monkey, thank you for becoming a gas station attendant.
a consensual sexual encounter is never something you're going to question afterwards. Okay? Like, you just don't question a consent.
Hey Diesel, do you have any male goblin body pillows asking for me because I'm gay? You know, I could do another one again in the future. We did one at launch a long time ago, but I probably should do another one.
Consensual encounter. Sure, you may have a consensual encounter that's unsatisfying. You may have one that you regret, that you may look back on one and go, if I could make that decision again, I probably wouldn't. But people don't question consensual sexual experiences with, did I just get violated? To be quite honest.
A lot of people hook up with people and then go, I shouldn't have hooked up with that person. Like, that do be happening quite a bit.
Thing that kind of breaks my heart is...
Yeah, the Danny Sexbang stuff was like literally somebody hooked up, like Danny Sexbang hooked up with a fan, and then the fan like literally just didn't feel good about it after. But it's like they were enamored with like his fame, fucked them, and then we're like, actually, I post hoc renege that consent. I feel like I shouldn't have fucked you. It's like I'm sorry, but you don't got the magic pussy that's going to tie someone down. And also, his name is Danny Sexbang, and he sings about fucking people all the time. Did you really think that he was going to be the one for you?
There's one point in her testimony where she questions, if I'm remembering this correctly, that like maybe she was at fault because she had a crush on him, like maybe she gave the wrong signal or something. Maybe she implied something, or he thought consent was implied because he knew there was a crush on her. Like, in all honesty, consent is never implied. Like, even secure, confident individuals in a sexual encounter will check in with their partner as things escalate.
I'm sorry. Walk me through how your sexual encounters go, okay? I've already explained last stream how a sexual encounter can happen and how people consent non-verbally.
If the ref has a camera, is it still cuckery or is it just porn at that point?
You know what? At that point, we might as well just double dip and film a sex tape, right? If some guy's got to be in the room, might as well put his ass to work, okay? You're not on retainer for nothing, okay? Get that camera out.
And change gears, and they'll say things like, are you okay? Should we keep going? Is
Are
this
you
good?
okay? Should you? You know what is the sexiest language possible? Is, are you okay? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but my sexy talk with someone is not like that. All right? Very few people have the riz to recover from interrupting their regularly scheduled makeout to make a verbal consent contract. Me making out with somebody and we're in bed. Hey girl, do you consent to this I'm sorry. Hey girl, do you consent in triplicate to this sexual encounter? Can you please sign on a dotted line with your initials and date of birth, saying that you want me to stick my penis in your vagina? I'm gonna have my lawyer here to notarize that. Yeah, you like that. You're a dirty girl the way that you signed that agreement in blue fountain pen ink. Never mind. I guess Diesel does. Yeah, that's what's I'm trying to think.
Baba Booey. It eats me up when I see people excited that a CSA/SA allegations was made against a popular YouTuber, so their hate of them is justified. This video is just that.
Yeah, but like, I feel like that's not an uncommon thing that we've seen. Thanks for the goon material. Yeah, my lawyer Saul Goodman is going to be sitting in the corner over there watching us. Don't worry, he's got his khakis on the whole time. He's not going to be participating. He's just watching to make sure everything's consensual and you're all good. Now I'm definitely baiting. I'm definitely thirst baiting you chat. Sorry. Thanks for the good material. I'm glad that you guys got that now. Hey, my lawyer's here to call out unlawful contact. So, I know that you're consenting to... I know that you're going to be consenting right here. Here's the specifics. And then I pull out like a checkbox list of like things that they're down for. It's like, you consent to cunnilingus. You consent to anal sex. Oh my god. Well, this is so...
Like, because consent is
like,
not something
if you're
that
doing like BDSM, I guess like you could bring up the conversation. Are you good? Do you want me to go harder, softer? Do you want me to, you know, like, do you feel okay? Should we continue? Right? Like, if we're doing like, if we're bringing out the chains and whips and shit, yeah, be a bit more clear about your verbiage. All right. Diesel, that's called FetLife. You just reinvented FetLife. Well, I think FetLife should hire lawyers that can go out and referee sexual encounters for FetLife users. Oh my god.
implied. It's never something that's implied. It's not, you know, an absence of a
Do people, also, it's like, do people know what like sexy talk is in the bedroom anymore? Because I feel like they don't. God showing up to the one night stand with like Miles Edgeworth to make sure consent is enforced is wild. Listen, man, we've got to like make cucking a reasonable profession, and we can do that through the legal avenue, okay?
Is not a yes in any regard. An absence of resistance is not compliance. And even in that regard, compliance is not an invitation.
Mm-hmm. Because this girl had a crush on Saber, it was okay that he just kind of initiated things. And then especially, too, in the elevator...
You guys are literally just waxing philosophical about an allegation with zero evidence and going, this isn't a good situation. This is a really bad situation.
Space when he's just...
Hey, bro, want to spot me while I rail your wife real quick?
Larger than her, like, physically. I don't know. It's all icky, but, like, what would you define consent as, and when would you...
You know, you have an orgy, you need a sex tribunal, and it's just three to five judges sitting at a table, and they watch everybody else do it, and they hit the gavel every time somebody, like, breaks a sex norm, or doesn't, like, abide by the contract.
Define, like, obviously this isn't it, for sure, but go ahead.
And in terms of like a definition of consent and what it is and what it isn't, consent is an excited yes. Consent is...
These people are really, really funny. These people are really funny. Dude, bringing out the textbook definitions of consent so that way the fucking U.S. Marines don't commit a war crime by accident.
Exuberant, what's the word I'm looking...
Read a screenshot. It goes against Courtney. Not giving you a chance to say no. Affirmative consent means yes is the only way to consent. Saying nothing does not mean you've given consent. In some situations, you may not want to say yes, but feel afraid to say no at the same time. A respectful person will probably notice your body language that you feel uncomfortable, and it'll take a moment to find out if everything's all right. You know what I've noticed? I think this is a problem. Okay, I'm sorry. Neurodivergence in the chat. I think this might just be an issue with neurodivergence. And if you're neurodivergent and looking to have sexual encounters, you might not recognize body language. So you need to recognize that you need to be very verbal about those things, right? Because something I've talked about is the body language. Because, like, body language is a lot of how you have sex and know where you're going, okay? It can be, but I fuck, so it doesn't apply to me. I just, I think it would help some of you to know that. It definitely is that. I'm neurodivergent. So someone who begins initiating sexual content without first discussing boundaries or asking what you'd like to do may hope you'll just go along with what they want to do. Maybe even wake you up for sex, disrupting your sleep and hoping that you'll be too tired to protest.
For payback, for lack of a better term, I guess. Like, two people in a consensual encounter engage in a give and take. Like, it's never just one person doing all of the action and the other person just laying
Yeah, body
there.
language and good, respectful partners is. Yeah, some people are just. I mean, part of it is like, you can't always know if you have a good, respectful partner, right? But body language is a really key one, and I really do think a lot of younger people who have less sexual encounters and neurodivergent people might be like unable to figure out what those are like, right? Because if you have sex, you know what kind of good sexual body language is. I don't know of another way to put it, right? I don't want to talk about my sexual encounters in detail, but that's like it's a really big part of it.
Like a bump on a log. It's an action that two people engage in when it's consensual. 9 times out of 10, when it's one person just using another person's body for sexual gratification, that's not a consensual encounter. That is just a violation of somebody's.
I do want to say that we got working girls, so like I'd hate to be a debater, Andy, on that, but whatever.
Person, and it's actually pretty common.
Neurodivergence.
For like sexual aggressors to attack somebody like in a innocuous sort of sense, like in the elevator, especially at like a convention.
How do you even have any how do you know this? How do you know this? How do you know that sexual aggressors attack people in an elevator? Like what the fuck? The rapists, they tend to congregate in elevators.
Public, because it sort of dissuades the target or the victim from actually saying anything, because like half the time people will think, well, this is being done in public, surely somebody's going to say something, so I don't have to. But the other part of them doesn't want to cause a scene and be embarrassed, because they're already embarrassed by the fact that they're being attacked, the fact that PDA in general is seen as like a sort of cringy, embarrassing thing, and like they don't want to draw more attention to themselves, especially while they're dealing with the fact that they're being attacked. And part of them just hopes that somebody's going to do it anyway, like step in and say something anyway. And the problem with the general public is they sort of fall into the someone else will deal with it mentality, whereas everybody sort of assumes that somebody else is going to step in and say something, so they therefore then won't.
Well, the other thing I want to throw in there too is nothing that's illegal, but kind of the parasocial relationship of like, it's always, it seems like it's a common thing where like, back in the day rock stars would sleep with their groupies kind of thing, but now
listen, if I've already said this, I will make you sign a paper. That's not a joke.
It's kind of more discussed that's a power dynamic that shouldn't really be abused, and especially when you don't really know someone in person. From the testimony, this is her first time in person with Saber, and he immediately not immediately, but he pretty much immediately jumps on her. So that also kind of gave me a big ick. Any thoughts on that?
Oh my god, guys, I've read through her testimony, and I have decided that it gives me a big ick. I've been in situations where it's not clear, and I made a move, and it was a miscommunication. I'm a believer of say what you mean and mean what you say. Well, like it's like you do two things, right? Like like if you're using body language and it's like not verbal. Like maybe if you do something bad, then like a partner will be like, not that, and then you just go back to doing it, or like you do something different, right? But it's like a dialogue, right, where you both are open with each other because you're both getting naked and fucking, right? So it's like a little of both, right? And then some people are like, I like this thing, I like that thing. Like I've had conversations with exes about like what do you like? I like this. And it's like in a completely like, we're just chatting in bed, not having sex, but we're like taking mental notes for the future in case those things happen.
And one other thing I wanted to add in is that, you know, confident individuals.
Hey, baby, you want some of this? Pulls out Mama Max style Discord NDA.
In a sexual encounter don't have to assume.
Big ick is a famously jailable offense. If if I am given the ick, if I give a woman an ick, I'll actually turn to dust like they do in Infinity War.
Consent is there because they will ask. And to be honest, the only time you're not asking or checking for consent is because you know yourself that the yes is not there. And you don't want to hear the no, so you will not ask.
The victim of CSA also knows what it's like from the perspective of the rapist. What is this, dude?
Okay? Because if you think consent is complied and you think the person that is, you know, on the other end of it is actively participating, if you know the answer is going to be yes.
This like, I feel like this kind of conversations like totally overcomplicates sexual encounters.
Then what do you have to lose by just asking? And being a responsible.
The ick, but when she was working on this, she wouldn't tell us what Saber did, just that it was, quote, gross and broke the law. Oy vey.
Individual when it comes to sexual practice and just asking. And the difference between, like, rock stars sleeping with groupies.
This is like the lady who said the people who crave carbs because you're looking for the love of your dad. Sigmund Freud smoking a cigar.
Comes down to, like, literally consent. Like, there's a big difference between, you know, the chick who's going to see the rock star perform and, like, flashing her titties while he's performing, and then going and flashing her titties to the bouncer to get backstage, and then flashing her titties in the rock star's face, probably making out with him a bit of her own volition, and one of them saying, hey, let's go back and sleep in the van. Like, there are multiple instances where consent is very, very clearly given.
Whoa. Yeah, she's consenting to flashing her tits multiple times, but maybe she gets back to that van and she's like, no. What is this? Why are rock stars allowed to have casual sex with their fans, but the second it's a YouTuber, it's a fucking problem?
By the groupie sleeping with the rock star, and like, yeah, there may be a certain power dynamic, and like there absolutely is multiple instances of rock.
The youngest alleged victim was 18, but most women were under 20s. While Gaiman, okay, Gaiman is an author, not a rock star, so this is not a good example.
Stars abusing that to be like, hey, well, I'm famous, show me your titties. But there's a big difference between going, hey, I'm famous, show me your titties, and someone going, I'm showing you my titties because I want to sleep with you. Right? Like, just the act of, like, basically showing you my titties is, in most circumstances, an invitation to touch my body.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. What the fuck kind of statement is that? What are you doing? Am I crazy? But that is, like, actually, Courtney, are you fucking stupid?
Act of, like, basically showing you my titties is in most circumstances an invitation to touch my body. Okay.
No. When I go see the strippers at the strip club, there's a strict no touching rule. So even though they're showing me their titties, it's not okay for me to touch them.
Okay. In no way is I'm a big fan of yours an invitation to touch somebody's body.
Well, it's not like you're going to be flashing your titties at fucking BronyCon. What the fuck kind of... This is like one of the worst arguments I've heard for this.
And I also find it really, really weird that this dude meets a fan.
If I'm at a convention and someone says, hey, Diesel, do you want to come back to my hotel room? I'm going to be like, this person wants to have sex with me. All right? But it's not like they're taking their tits out and being like, here are my tits. This means I want to have sex with you.
gets the inkling she has a crush on him, so he invites her back to his hotel room. Okay, like getting invited back to the hotel room has sexual connotations, and the fact that she didn't realize that just shows how naive she was, and the fact that none of
okay, all right. Now it's that she's naive, right? Yeah, but someone showing their tits to a rock star isn't naive. What kind of like you see how stupid this logic is?
that was communicated, because clearly he knew what he was inviting her back to the hotel room for, but she didn't. And that just gives me like the major ick, to be quite honest, because like
it gives me the major ick. Okay, all right.
It's really as if Saber is acting like he's Gene Simmons inviting you back to, the hotel room, when in reality he's a pudgy brony YouTuber.
Yeah, and he's being like, hey, do you want to come back to my hotel room? What the fuck do you think that means? I'm sorry, I knew what that meant when I was a virgin who didn't have sex. Okay? Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Like, sure, maybe she doesn't know. But like, none of the signals? You're telling me there were no signals between point A and point B? I don't believe that. Because that's just not how people work.
Showing you his animations before he shows you his dick. Like, that's not the same thing at all.
Okay, now you're just editorializing the event.
Like, you think there was some kind of weird parasocial dynamic too that she felt uncomfortable, advocating for herself because, like, oh, this is the real.
Okay. When there's a parasocial dynamic between a rock star and a groupie, that's like fine. But if it's a YouTuber, oh, big problem. Okay.
Saber Spark TM, like, I don't want to feel like, he might say something on Twitter, blast me publicly, like
what? You don't feel like that's gonna happen with like a rock star? Does that not is there not a power dynamic there? There's more of a power dynamic between a rock star and a groupie than there is from a glup shitto YouTuber.
Pressure, just generally speaking, when celebrities, have those kind of encounters with.
Like if I invite somebody over to watch Netflix and it's a woman, we know what I'm saying when I say, hey, want to come over and watch fucking Netflix? Okay? Like maybe some people don't know, but I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody's inviting you over, or better yet, if somebody invites you over to a hotel to watch Netflix, they're inviting you over for sex.
Saber Spark is our wrist. Shocker, he's a brony.
Not only does him being a brony have nothing to do with it, I don't even think he's a rapist.
Fans, I guess.
Of course she would have felt uncomfortable advocating for herself. Like, most fans don't get to meet their idol in person. So meeting your idol in person...
Most fans don't get to meet their idol in person. True. So why is this a problem with YouTubers and not with rock stars?
Person is already a very exalted sort of status. Like, that's something most fans dream of but never actually get to. So once you put a fan in the situation where they're meeting their idol in person, something they probably never thought would happen but always dreamed would happen, no fan is going to do something that's going to jeopardize that, and that includes offending their idol. And like, the idol knows that, and for like, say, like, anybody to sit there and be like, well, what if so and so wasn't aware of the power dynamic? Like, they always know. You can always tell. You can always feel it. You can.
Saber Spark didn't have his 2.2 million followers back then. No, he didn't. No, back in like what, 2012? Fuck no.
Tell when somebody is fangirling, and to like, for someone who's going to sit there and prey on that and be like, well, I know you're not going to say no to me or at least give me a hard boundary that could possibly offend me, so I'm going to exploit that.
I'm sorry, but Lily Orchard was not like you aren't a victim of like a YouTuber being like taking advantage of you. This is a familial thing between you and Lily Orchard, Courtney, okay? So that's not the same fucking thing. So you're talking on an experience that you didn't have.
Asking things of you that I know you wouldn't say yes to in any other situation. And like, to be quite honest, no fan is going to do anything. Most fans are not going to do anything other than fall into line with that, because again, they're getting to an exalted status of getting to meet their idol in person. They've been a fan.
I totally, like, I see people are fans of YouTubers, but every time you're a fan of a YouTuber, they are infinitesimally less famous than any musician you could meet. Period. Okay?
person, they've done art for this person, they've dreamed of meeting this person, they're not going to jeopardize that by offending that person by saying no.
Mm-hmm. And not that those relationships can't happen, but it's very tricky water as far as, you know, establishing and acknowledging the power dynamic and discussing it before, like, even anything were to happen. But I don't know, my whole MO has never really been to go date your fans, because, you know, it, like, your fans are not a dating pool. They're just, you know, they're there to consume your content. I don't know, it just this.
YouTubers hook up with fans all the time. You know, that happens all the time. I've seen it. It happens all the fucking time, and many people have fine experiences. Some people end up in relationships. Okay? Some people start as fans, become friends, then start dating. Right? So, at one point does it pass from fan to friendship, right? Cuz at one point some of my mods were fans, but now they're my friends. I'm not saying I'm going to fuck my mods, but, like, you know, like, that happened and I'm friends with them now. You know, fucking Jesus. PewDiePie is an example. Yeah, Marcia watched him before they met. And then they met because of his YouTube channel. Like, that happens all the time. It's not abnormal. You know, you're going, if you're a human and you interact with other humans, you will be surrounded by humans who have similar interests to you. So assumedly, if you're not using like Tinder or something, you are going to find someone in your life who is interested in the same things as you, right? And you will probably meet in an environment like that. All right? I don't know what to fucking say. Like, you're gonna spend time around people that have similar interests to you. If you start a community server or you hang out at places, right, and people know you're a YouTuber, the possibility of you finding someone and liking them and them being a fan is possible.
It's not technically illegal, but it just kind of ick to me.
And in terms of dating your fans, like, I don't know, I just kind of miss the days where it was considered just not kosher to date from your fan base. Like, that was
That was a stupid thing that people propagated. That was an old opinion I had, and it was a stupid, wrong opinion to have. Okay? It was a stupid, wrong opinion to have. And I'll admit that. All right? And I'm an idiot for even propagating that idea.
considered poor form because, like, your fans aren't your peers. And
you're also just a person. So if you're a YouTuber, what? You can only date other YouTubers? God, fucking shoot me now. God, could you imagine me dating a female version of me? Like, what the fuck? So I should date some random, like I if you're a YouTuber, you work from home, where are you gonna meet people? You know, you're gonna meet them online.
Also, it's still not kosher to most PPA.
God. That's why you and Beckett are dating. No, we're not dating.
always question why, like, when
Oh, I guess we are. Sorry, I forgot the polycule bit. Not yet.
somebody can't pull from their peers, like,
What
why
do you
is
mean
it
can't pull? Jesus Christ, how fucking valuable do you think a YouTuber is? Okay? Like, I've said this last stream, but unless you hit 1 million subscribers, you don't matter, actually. Like, you literally don't matter. And even 1 million subscriber YouTuber doesn't really matter.
A
You're
writer married.
married.
that you can't, like, land somebody and date somebody who's, like, on an even playing field with you? Why does there have to be a
I can't tell you how much I really don't want to date a YouTuber. Okay? Because if I have to go to work as a YouTuber and then I have to fucking turn around and I see you and you're also a YouTuber and now our relationship is like public by default and now everybody gets to like pontificate upon our relationship and everything. No, I don't want to do that. I don't No, that's insane. That's crazy.
power imbalance? And that's always, like, the
Dude, I'm sorry, but I gotta... Because, sorry, guys. Power scaling, I have to date another YouTuber with at least 100,000 subscribers. Otherwise, I'm taking advantage of you. Sorry, did you know that adults have actually zero agency when they're in front of somebody with subscribers?
trend with these types. Like if you look at like most of their relationships, there's always a power imbalance. And if you have a track record of having a power imbalance in your relationships, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you
It's
need?
like banging a coworker. So awkward.
Oh my god. I can't. Like, I could see myself. Could you? Okay, here's the worst case scenario: me, FPS Diesel, dating another drama YouTuber. Fucking, that sounds like the worst thing ever. Maybe at the least I date another YouTuber in another genre, but like, you know, I'm gonna be around a lot of people. Sometimes I'll meet people who are fans. They start as fans, they become friends, we start dating. There's not really a power imbalance there because they've broken that barrier of being a fan, and now like we're just homies, right? Like, you know, you've seen me for being a normal person, like it's just whatever, right? But it's not like I just like, if that person can't pass that threshold and they always like look up to me as some godlike YouTuber, I'm not even gonna want to be friends with them, right? Like, I don't hang around the people and I don't make friends with people who like overly glaze me and are constantly like fucking like bending over backwards for my greatness. I don't want to make friends with those people at all, let alone
Power
anything
scaling.
else.
Yeah, this rape is crazy, but can it beat Goku?
The only female drama channel I can think of is Xylee. She seems a bit old for you, Diesel. She says that if she was younger... Xylee is also married, that's true. But yeah, they break the homie barrier, right? Because I've broken the homie barrier with people. That happens. And it's normal.
To have a one-up on somebody in order to be in a relationship with them.
But it's like to this implication that like the YouTube status matters in perpetuity is fucking crazy because it's really just the job. Okay.
Like, you need therapy.
Yeah, it's no fun here. I think that's it, Courtney, unless you have anything else to add. Like anything else
This was literally just ladies waxing philosophically about a drama.
you want to add that you remember from the
Like
testimony
I
that you want
like
to comment on?
If you question if it's a violation, it probably was. If you feel violated, that was not consent. Your feelings matter. Your feelings are valid. Consent is never implied. Real men who get bitches ask for consent. I guess.
Oh my god. The SA book club. Yeah, it could be regret. It could be regret. Do people like not have sexual encounters they regret anymore? It is only sex that you have that you enjoyed and rape. Like there's no in between.
Yes, that's it.
What a good way to end the video. Not end the video, end the segment. What a good way to end the segment. Part 5, why make this video?
Why make this video? Because I'm a petulant bitch.
Actually, this is insight about how content creators can respond to situations of sexual harassment and more damning incidents. It's important to talk about how this stuff
I
isn't
can
okay,
think of
and it's
so
not
many
something to make jokes
times
out of.
consent is implied.
I just these people.
I personally shouldn't have to be sexualized or belittled because someone didn't get what they wanted, and
I shouldn't have to be sexualized or belittled. I'm sorry, I'm just so attractive, guys.
in a professional setting. The story and the other incidents are taken to an extreme. I should not have to fight with people to get justice for something like this, or for other victims. And especially on receiving responses when there only might be repercussions on the line. It's messed up, and I'm hoping this can be a learning experience for anyone who has ever made a nasty meme or taken something too far. Admitting it and apologizing without being prompted can go a long way.
In the brony world, she is boss. Yeah, no, for real. That's true, though.
And thinking about possible consequences should be as well. Chris didn't just make up a bad story. He did some other unsavory stuff, combined with the lack of action.
Guys, Chris did some other unsavory stuff. He said the N-word.
Is in the DA game space when there are children in there is unacceptable. There's nothing bad or off-brand
like
about...
I agree. Fauci was on here last time and he was like, just don't even have a Discord that allows minors. And I stand by that wholeheartedly. Minors just shouldn't be online. The internet is so fucking disastrous, okay? I had fettered, completely unregulated internet access from the time I was like 8, 9, somewhere around there. All right, I did not need to be on the internet. And honestly, at least I got to experience some cool stuff, but like I did not need to be on that.
Kicking a pedophile out of your community and letting other adjacent communities know. It also seems to me that many popular content creators don't know or frankly don't care about keeping their community safe when it comes to problematic behavior. There will be
Interesting. It would be a shame if you also lived in a glass house.
Involved. So if you don't like confrontation, maybe think twice about being a...
You know what? I gotta be honest. This lady is the kind of person who can't handle confrontation, right? Because if she heard some of the things I've said on this stream and prior stream, she would literally crumple over.
Content creator. If you don't want so much responsibility, then consider making public spaces 18+. But even then, there still might be creeps. So I made a quick little guide. KP's guide to dealing with bad people in your community.
You're the expert in that. Okay.
Number 1, listen to someone if they have a serious concern, and make sure they have screenshots if possible.
Oh, make sure they have screenshots if possible. That's very bold of you to say, considering the Saber Spark allegations had no screenshots associated with them. It is almost astounding how you contradict yourself in the same video. All right. You signal boost Saber Spark's allegations, provided nothing extra to the conversation, and also didn't back it up with any extra information as well. She tried to get me into a call after this went down and some other stuff, and when I refused, she accused me of being afraid of confrontation. I'm sorry. Listen, KP, I would love to have confrontation with you. Let's have confrontation. I love confrontation. I actually froth at the mouth. I've been waiting for months to wet my sword and make another YouTuber have a meltdown. Okay? I would love to have a conversation with you. Please.
And if you're too busy, get a mod team to help you with this. Number 2, if the screenshots are damning enough, skip step 3 and remove them from your space. Number 3, if there are no screenshots, confront the person with the issue stated and get their side of the story. Have others weigh in on the decision if it's a hard one. Number 4, make a Google Doc with problematic or unsafe behavior so it can be shared with other people.
Make a Google Doc so we can turn this into a public spectacle, because everything needs to be a public spectacle. Okay. I mean, sure, make a Google Doc. It will actually fund my income, so please do post it on Twitter.
Communities, and this person
Google Docy.
can't prey on another fan group. Number 5, look out for name changes and general suspicious behavior, especially in fandom communities. All in all, these people seem to be unsafe around
What the fuck, dude? Google Gemini is so fucking annoying.
Children because they don't seem to care about holding anyone accountable. And Saber probably didn't think all this through because he didn't think it was going to be public. Oops. Hashtag sorry not sorry. Part 6. Shitting on Lily Orchard because it's fun.
Dude, you know Mr. Enter also made a Google Docy on this? You know, it's very bold of her to shit on Lily Orchard when it's convenient, when she was one of the longest standing friends of Lily Orchard. She doesn't follow rules herself either. It sucks. I lost my mod role because she didn't get everything right and just went off of one DM. Okay, so, did she make you a mod when she was covering this? Because that's kind of like a conflict of interest. Why would she put you in that position when you are a source in a story that is currently ongoing? You know, like, I mean, it seems like it's nothing but downsides for her, by the way, to do that. And almost a security risk for her as well, considering you're a source in a story. It's not an indictment against you. It's just like in my opinion, it's a poor decorum thing, and she probably shouldn't do that. Yes, I was made a mod in March, and then head mod a week later. After the Op House stream, she thought I was shit-talking and harmed her team. Okay, well, that's unsurprising. Yeah, she shouldn't have put you in that position. She reaped what you sowed, and you did nothing wrong, by the way. Okay, listen, lady. Do I need to talk about your fucking DeviantArt favorites again?
So welcome to the Lily section for the people who only care about her and not any of the other stuff. Fun fact, Lily just rebranded herself as CD Callout. because it's totally about not escaping all the pedophilia and abuse claims and just making people happy with her sunshiny content, because her content's always just so positive and great, and Jesus fucking Christ, she's not fucking fooling anyone.
You a rotten liar.
KP wanted to talk to Sketchy about all these accusations made against me, and then show screenshots that made it very obvious that she's lying. Sketchy says rather plainly, I am not comfortable discussing my friends when they're not around, to which KP offers adding a third party, whose relation to the case she has yet to disclose. But she is unfortunately missing the point. Sketchy did not want to have this conversation while I wasn't present, so the third party had to be me.
So Sketchy stuff was generally taken out of context. In the screenshot I'm showing you, Sketchy basically said he wasn't open to the conversation, even though I offered if a third party was present, and he still said no. The third party was implied to be Lily herself, so it didn't seem to me that he was open to the conversation regardless if Lily was there or not. If he was open to the conversation when Lily was there, then he should have clarified that with communication. And I'm still open to have that conversation
I'm sorry,
even now.
What does any of this have to do with anything? Literally none of this has anything to do with anything.
Like, let's go, bro.
You move, Chief.
The other thing in the first screenshot is that he just assumes I'm projecting. Like, that's a weird thing to say for someone I don't really talk to that often. I don't want to speculate on private conversations with Lily, but am I wrong to say that's a little sussy? It seems obvious to me that Lily talked to him before I confronted him, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to sit here and speculate that. Oh, fun fact, Sketchy is also a not safe for work furry artist, which, fine, you live your best life, Sketchy, but you know what? I don't think
Why you cannot be pearl clutching over somebody drawing furry NSFW? You've got to be kidding me.
furries are really into the whole pedophilia scene. So you know it'd be great if all the
Okay. Whatever.
the furries spread the word and said not to commission this guy because he's friends with a pedophile.
What are we?
Let's talk about the recording confrontation. So generally what happened during the segment is Lily kind of manipulated what I said and miscommunicated some things, so I'm here to clarify because, you know, fuck Lily, who cares? So number one, Lily totally skips the part of the confrontation where she lies
Yeah, it says the woman with Draken XKP art in her videos.
about Stockholm.
So I was really fucking pissed off at the fact that fanfiction just basically just kind of let anything go in regard.
Jesus Christ, dude! Holy fuck! What does any of this have anything to do with anything?
In regards to content, and just hosted a shitload of child porn. So I wrote a book where basically a bunch of so I wrote a fic where a bunch of pedophiles just get shot in the head, and then Brony.
Wow, you know, I really didn't like how this pedophile was doing pedophile things, so I wrote a fictional story about killing pedophiles. Cool. Thanks for sharing. All right. I don't like.
He's got really mad about it and started lying about its contents.
That's a weird thing to leave out for someone who wants to tell the truth.
Isn't that convenient?
KP, people have made worse accusations about you.
Yeah, because allegedly treating your employees poorly is totally worse than raping your own little sister.
I mean, I'm not bringing out the weighted scale here, okay? Listen, when you pass on to the great reads, okay? Osiris is gonna judge you against the feather, okay? Your heart against the weight of a feather. And it'll be the same for both of you. You will both go to the dark place or whatever. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read about that.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
KP decides my denying of the accusations carries less weight than her making them because she just decided that was the case.
I never accused anyone of lying, and Lily just was like,
You accuse tons of people of lying all the time, but whatever.
I don't want you talking to Courtney.
So, as a favor to you, if
It's Anubis, not Osiris. Okay.
I reached out to Courtney and got her to apologize for the trans.
No, I do not want you to reach out to Courtney at all.
Just seems like a weird thing to say if you have nothing to hide. Her whole reaction to me just asking about it was so defensive.
It's just a question. No need to get so defensive.
And where have they said worse things about me? I want you to cite your sources.
Never mind that when you don't have a significant social media presence, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by doing it.
Yeah, because I'm going to come out of total obscurity to accuse someone of rape for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Makes sense.
To be honest, Courtney has made quite the little cottage industry of being misrape victim, so...
You even hear yourself?
Never mind that this is literally policy in some states.
The fuck? What even? You're not even American, you stupid girl. Girl, can you not? I want to kiss your face with that.
Stupid girl. Damn.
Hammer.
She then decided to offer to mediate a call between me and Courtney, and are you fucking kidding me? Oh boy. Yeah, I sure would love it if the Queen of the Lollipop Guild organized a call between me and my abuser like we're on an episode of fucking Smiling Friends, just because she's a gullible shit with all the political awareness of a drunk sparrow in a rave.
The fuck? How is this political? Why a sparrow? Is that like a metaphor for something you made up in your head?
That is well, maybe you would understand better if you had media literacy. I'm sorry.
Doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Some people were surprised at how abruptly I ended the call when KP said she wasn't comfortable with the accusation.
Dude, Saber Spark is barely a feature in this, okay? Saber Spark is like a side character in this story, dude.
Made against me. I just said,
I've just received a Discord notif. What could this possibly mean? Okay, this is just funny. Hey, Icarus bro, wanna order some hot wings? Oh my god, I'm so fucking sorry. Now that's Tumblr humor.
right by, and left and blocked her on everything. Simple reason for that, I don't want to be friends with anyone who believes any of this garbage, and that's something I'm entitled to do.
Yeah, sure, I never said you can't do that. It's just a little defensive and weird.
I didn't yell, I didn't scream, I didn't call her any names, I just said bye and left.
Girl, you called her a bunch of names in this video and demeaned her intelligence. Actually, bye.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm out. Can't
literally you, but okay.
do this anymore. Need to go home.
I never said
we hit Steven Universe too? Crazy. Dude, this is the whole fucking experience, man. This is like a distillation of an entire website's culture.
Believe in the accusations, just that they made me uncomfortable and wanted to ask Lily about them. Is that not communicating? Lily, you always hemmed and hollered about, oh, no one ever communicates with me. They never set boundaries and then they just leave when I make them uncomfortable.
Chris
I
was
just
brought up more than anybody else in the video, yes.
wish people would communicate and tell me when they're uncomfortable so we can find solutions together.
Saber was like 8 minutes of a 2-hour video. Dude, her video was used as like promotion in the allegation.
Because I'm communicating when I'm uncomfortable, suddenly I'm a gullible shit. Gee, I wonder why your friends don't feel like they can communicate with you.
You can go back over the podcast we did talking about personal trauma, where I bring up most of the stuff, and she's just kind of disinterested in anything that isn't about her. We just kind of accepted that. I mean, it's not that KP was a shitty friend, it's just that she was just kind of there, and it was something that made cutting the thread upon KP, crossing my strictest boundaries, easier to do.
Let's talk about how I didn't want to interrupt someone who's talking about their trauma. Michaela also had to push me to communicate with Lily, and Lily actively flirting with me was a little uncomfy, especially live.
Like, literally everyone, fuck you. KP is an absolutely lovely person.
Yay, I'm gonna slowly, I've made this joke like privately, but like I'm slowly gonna acquire a lesbian army and take over the world. Just give it time. Anyway.
that is the most aggressive polycule ever.
Lily clearly never ever wanted to fuck me, never ever. And I never ever had a reason
I'll
to
show
not
you an aggressive polycule. Get ready for the slop mafia. They don't call us a slop mafia for nothing.
want to open up to her, and she seems to think that's some kind of personal slight against her, that I never warmed up to her in the way she wanted me to. Then I learned about how she raped her sister.
Everything that you've experienced is like, everybody wants to fuck you. Wah, wah, wah. Well, I don't want to fuck you, bitch. God, I don't like her at all. I hate her. God, well, I don't really hate her. I don't really think about you. I think you're annoying. I think the world would be improved by your absence, but I guess you'd say the same about me.
And about Stockholm and the dog fucking, and you fucking wonder where I'm like,
why
yeah, maybe
would you
Lily
put
Orchard
that
isn't, like,
in
the
and
best
not
person.
censor it? Whatever, we existed in that world. You showed it. It's past. But why did you do that? Also, that was a werewolf, so like I don't know. It's kind of like edge case furry v human behavior, but whatever. Guys, is fucking the werewolf from Skyrim that is part of the companions bestiality or not? Need to know. Guys, a new fucking dog warts just dropped.
From her then.
This isn't even to call KP a bad person for being an aloof, self-centered weirdo who's always disassociating.
Lily, you're being ableist. Just because you also have PTSD doesn't mean it's cool to say that I'm odd in the head.
You are odd in the head. Actually, you're fucking deranged. It is bestiality, but it's okay. She sent you to get consent. I'm not doing dog warts, chat. I feel like a werewolf is like edge case furry, you know?
It's just that
dog warts is just the Harkness test for Zoomers. There we go. There's another Tumblrism.
All that stuff made me realize I wasn't really going to miss her.
Oh no, the incestuous pedophile rapist doesn't want me in her polycule anymore? Whatever shall I do?
Stop, don't come back.
In general, you should always be extremely suspicious of any accuser who tries to convince you not to.
I kind of feel like this lady is the kind of person who fantasizes about having a harem. You know what I mean?
To listen to the accused response.
But that's what you did, Lily. That's what you did. Oh, P.S. On the Britney section, Lily cropped out a lot of Britney's talking points.
What is dog warts? Is it a rabbit hole? No, dog warts is a question created by a YouTube streamer, MRAW. Okay? And just for clarity, I'm not homies with MRAW. I've barely fucking spoken to him. But he made this stupid hypothetical question about, like, if you went through the door to get to Hogwarts, you know, the door at the train station, and you go to the door, and there's a dog, and the dog is sentient and says, "Hi, I'm a dog, and I would like to have sex with you." That's the whole question. That's the whole fucking question. It's stupid. MRAW didn't create dog warts. I think Dan Saltman and Destiny did. Ah, okay.
Points to sound like she was.
I'm sorry, I've been psyoped to think that Emra was the one who invented dog wars.
Talking to herself. So go check Brittany's logs and report back. That's your homework, unless you're stupid enough to believe Lily on her word, which, can't really help you there. And also she...
I don't even think dog wars passes the Harkness test. No, technically dog wars would pass the Harkness test. Because the way the question is presented means that it passes. But I think the only reason that it wouldn't pass, I think there's like a line in the Harkness test that says like that they need to be like compatible with humans.
cut out all the dog fucking pictures in the patch section, so,
When we were... So we started school at like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think the dog is actually a pedophile in this equation. I'm just confused. Why is Hogwarts involved with this type of question? Honestly, I don't fucking know. I've never experienced the dog warts. It's only been like litigated at me by other people who are mad about it at me, assuming I have some relation to Emrau.
Lily started at 5, I started at 6, and we always got the bus up at the top entrance of the trailer park where there was the store. Now the trailer park used to be gated for whatever reason, and the stone walls that held the gates are still.
I'm sorry. What is any of that? I'm done. I'm done. This is ridiculous. I'm not wasting my energy on this Lily Orchard shit right now. Final Fantasy House will be the only way to manifest a Tifa GF. Well. Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree, Pixel Kitty, right? As a professional furry, my humble opinion is that it goes to feral zoo territory because it's just a straight up dog. Yes, thank you. Thank you. There's something to be said about an anthropomorphized creature versus a dog that's on all fours. And that makes a huge difference. Finally, we get the furry take on it.
The average person WLD still say no to a talking dog.
Exactly. And that's how you get away from the dog warts question. It's a very easy thing to avoid. Okay, but for some reason, stupid people crash out over the question. Oh my god. That was a long one, chat. But yeah, man, it's just like Judy Hopps, okay. A rabbit, not okay. It's that simple. God. What a long video. With nothing to add. Oh, shout out to Mally. All these streams and I still don't understand what Saber did. I mean, he was 8 minutes of a 2-hour video, so I don't blame you, Mally. I don't blame you. I think Saber Spark was a rock star and it was T in an elevator and the T consented or didn't consent. And then somebody blew up or something. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Aren't we almost to his part? If we're almost to Saber Spark's part, I'd eat a shoe because there's like 4 minutes left in the video. All right. Like, I don't know. There's nothing else there.
Once it's a furry / more human than animal, it's okay.
I'm not a furry, but I do have some furry crushes, and I'd be lying if I said otherwise. I've always been a big fan of Carmelita Fox from Sly Cooper. Personally. Me too. Explain what bro did. I think Saber Spark pissed on the moon or something. I think Diesel is a Lola Bunny guy. Of course I'm a Lola Bunny guy. Who wouldn't be a Lola Bunny guy? Lola Bunny is Lola Bunny. What do you think of the victim saying follow for proof? I think that they have an ulterior motive. Yeah, clout brain, clout behavior. I hate furry motherfuckers when Lola Bunny says doll. That happened the other night on Op Block stream. Jesus Christ, of course it did. Of course. Legoshi B stars. I get why people have a crush on Legoshi. I get why people have a crush on Legoshi, especially with his English VA. I get it. I get it. Yeah. I'm a raid the ops, so go say hi to them. I have a crush on Roger Rabbit is wild. That's wild. All right. Say hi. Say hi to my kids.